Thank you for joining me here this afternoon. The time is now 4:11 p.m. Central, 5:11 p.m. Eastern, and we have a brand new tornado warning going out now for the southeast side of the St. Louis suburbs. There is now a rotating supercell approaching Smithton and New Athens, Illinois, just southeast of Belleville, and this is going to have the capabilities to produce a tornado within the next 5 to 10 minutes at the shortest. So if you are in this area, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately in the lowest floor of its 30 building, away from windows and in an interior room. Your area of circulation is right now located just south of Smithton and is eventually going to be making its way up towards the Freeburg and Highway 15 area. So again, make sure that you are getting either underground or into the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. Again, this supercell is already starting to develop a pretty impressive shape here on the south side of Belleville. Again, you got that classic little hook echo shape there on the reflectivity. You can also see a pretty noticeable RFD surge, again, a rear flank downdraft popping out on the back here, which are all signs of a developing tornado associated with a severe thunderstorm. So again, likely a tornado trying to develop near the towns of Smithton and Freeburg, Illinois. So if you're in this area, we need you to be in your safe spot. This is an area where we are going to be watching for a couple of potentially strong tornadoes to develop today, actually, across southern Illinois, if supercells can take advantage of the limited amount of instability out here. Taking a look at the HRRR model, we can see that right now we don't have super impressive Cape values. That's going to rise up a little bit, but overall, unless we see these go far down into portions of southern Illinois, they're really not going to be able to take advantage of this environment. Again, there are a couple of exceptions. The peak daylight heating hours will be at about 7 p.m. Central, and that will lead to some significant Cape value increases across four southern sections of Illinois, where we could be talking about 3,500 to 4,000 joules per kilogram of surface-based Cape in localized areas. But again, right now, mainly going to be watching storms across far southern Illinois and not much else, because the further north you go, the less instability you have, and the less impressive these severe thunderstorms are going to be. Now, again, taking another look here at the HRRR model, if we go back onto the composite reflectivity, we can see that we are expecting a few discrete supercells to develop here across portions of far southern Illinois tonight, where we are expecting that greatest amount of instability to be. So areas along the Ohio River do need to be on the lookout for a potential tornado threat there. Again, I wouldn't rule out a couple of isolated tornadoes and maybe a very brief strong one between now and 8 p.m. The reason I say potentially a brief strong one, again, we've got those pretty impressive Cape values as we go later into the evening, and also we do have a decent bit of wind shear out here in this environment, so it's not entirely possible that we do see a localized chance for a strong tornado. Again, shear values kind of remaining between 50 and 60 knots between the first 6 kilometers of the atmosphere, and again, getting isolated areas up to 70 knots of shear. So a pretty impressive environment overall. Again, dew points sitting in the high 60s and the low 70s. So definitely going to be that potential for a localized severe weather outbreak down here across parts of southern Illinois and southwestern Indiana today. Now, we have had a huge bust of an event down here into portions of the Arklatex area. We did have a 10% hatch tornado risk going out for parts of northeast Texas, southeast Oklahoma, southwestern Arkansas, and northwestern Louisiana, and this ended up being a huge damaging windbag, but not a whole lot else. We did not have any confirmed tornadoes from this event today, so obviously that's a good thing, but it's quite surprising considering that this setup actually was somewhat tornadically primed. As we said yesterday, there was definitely going to be that potential for a couple of strong tornadoes if cells could remain discreet, and that just did not happen. This line was moving way too fast, and it just sucked up all those discrete cells that we did have even for a brief period of time, and really ramped up that damaging wind threat quite significantly, but again, heightened the limiting factor on that tornado threat there, right? So we're going to continue to watch out for some damaging wind gusts of 60 to 70 miles an hour across portions of the Arklatex region over the next couple of hours. As these move through portions of central Louisiana and central Arkansas, we definitely could see some isolated gusts getting from 70 to 80 miles an hour, so we'll make sure to keep another eye out on that. But again, I think at this point in the night, the greatest tornado threat is actually going to come here across portions of southern Illinois and far southwestern Indiana. Now, I would like to note we did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning for downtown Lubbock, Texas, and you will have noticed on my community tab most likely earlier that we did have a couple of land spouts just west of Lubbock, Texas via multiple storm chasers, including PA storm trackers. They are out there right now in Lubbock just above my head, so they are going to have a great look at if any tornadoes do try to develop, or again, even any just brief land spouts or gustnadoes try to develop with these thunderstorms here. Now moving through downtown Lubbock, again, now with a severe thunderstorm warning for the threats of quarter-sized hail and damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. So if you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors immediately. Again, Our main storm that we're kind of watching right now is just south of Belleville, Illinois, and we've got some broad circulation there approaching Highway 15, so if you're in this area, make sure you are remaining in your safe spot. Again, preferably underground or in a storm shelter. Again, if you're in a mobile home, you're going to want to get out and find a more substantial place to seek shelter in. Again, if you can't get underground, get on the lowest floor of a sturdy building away from windows and in an interior room. Now, you will notice that we do have a couple of supercells back down into portions of southeastern Missouri trying to take a very similar shape to this. I really don't think that these supercells are going to have a tornado threat associated with them for very long. It's mainly going to be over the next 30 minutes or so. Again, the instability values out here in this region aren't going to be super great for the next couple of hours, so we really have to see if they're going to produce a tornado within the next 30 to 45 minutes. Otherwise, it's probably not going to happen with those particular storms, but again, the thunderstorms that we're expecting to develop later tonight in this area certainly are going to have a greater tornadic potential associated with them. So again, the Storm Prediction Center did issue a 5% tornado probability out here for sections of southwestern Indiana, southern Illinois, and southeastern Missouri. So again, if you were out here in this brown or even the green shaded region, make sure that you do have a tornado action plan in place tonight. I would not be surprised to see the Storm Prediction Center issue a tornado or a severe thunderstorm watch very shortly here, especially for sections of south central Illinois. Again, supercells capable of producing tornadoes are already starting to fire here across portions of the St. Louis metro area. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up stream chat. If anybody has any questions about their location, make sure to leave those down below. I'll try to answer them accurately and honestly, but I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Again, make sure to let me know where you're tuning in from, because we are going to be watching all over the place today for tornadoes in parts of the Midwest and the Ohio Valley, damaging winds down into the deep south, and even a couple of landspouts back there into portions of the Texas Panhandle. So again, a very widespread chance for some severe weather today across a good kind of chunk of the country here. So again, I appreciate all y'all for joining me. Alan with the $2 dono. Let's get those W Allens in the chat. Thank you so much. Alan is always a goat. He is just always amazing. Again, he is quite literally the most generous man I've ever met online. So huge shout out to Alan for the $2 donation. Everybody throw out those W Allens down below in the chat. The goat is back as always. Again, Alan was huge yesterday with the $50 donation. So Alan is incredible. Again, spam down those W Allens if you have not already. So again, good to see the usual crew back in here once again. What's going on, Kevin, Mr. Storm Chaser 575, Alan, Camp Arcs, and everybody else? I hope you all are having an amazing day. Mine's been all right. I'm kind of out of it right now, so excuse me if my speech is a little more slurred or I'm kind of stuttering over my words a little bit more than I usually do, but we're still going to try to get a good coverage stream out for you guys tonight, because again, obviously this is a somewhat significant tornado potential down here in the portions of southern Illinois. So we're going to continue to watch this over the next several hours. Again, right now, the only tornado warning that we have in effect for the southeast side of Belleville. Again, this is a far southeastern suburb of St. Louis, Missouri, but this is on the Illinois side of the state line. Again, this is on the east side of the Mississippi River here. Again, at this point, if we do have an ongoing tornado, it would be going right into Freeburg. So if you're in this area, you need to remain in your safe spot. Alrighty. You got 7 severe thunderstorm warnings and 2 severe thunderstorm watches in a row yesterday on your enhanced risk on your weather radio. That is honestly amazing. Again, hopefully I can get a couple of captures out here on my NOAA weather radio today. If you guys aren't aware, I am out here in southern Illinois as well, so I'm going to be looking out for some thunderstorms in my neck of the woods, and hey, maybe I'll even do some storm chasing tonight if things do get close enough, but for right now, we're kind of just watching these storms pretty far off to my west. I will say the title of the stream is somewhat incorrect. I have it on severe weather coverage. I think it was meant to say tornado warning in Illinois, because again, that is an ongoing tornado warning active for portions of St. Clair County. So give me just a second to update that very quickly. Again, if you are out here just south of Belleville, make sure you are remaining in your safe spot on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. As this storm continues to move off to the east-northeast, again, right now this is on the south side of Belleville, Illinois. So give me just a second here. I'm going to go ahead and update that stream title. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and share this out on social media, try to get it out to as many people as possible. I encourage you guys to do the same because, again, we're going to be live here for a while, and this is quite a widespread threat for severe weather today. We're going to be talking about the potential for severe thunderstorms and tornadoes all the way from portions of Indiana back down to Texas, and especially the Texas Panhandle there. Again, can't rule out a few landspouts in that environment. We have already had 3 reports of confirmed landspouts from the west side of Lubbock, Texas, and the same storm that produced those and those landspouts were associated with is right now moving through the north side of Lubbock. And you'll even note here that on the severe thunderstorm warning, they did put the landspout tag. Again, give me just a second here. Again, trying to get a little community post out here so that everybody knows that we are live. Again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Today, so much rainfall, I thought that your school would flood. Yeah, I mean, we definitely have had some areas that have experienced some significant flash flooding back into portions of Texas and Arkansas this evening, and especially last night, actually, across parts of North Texas. Stormwater Media captured some incredible flash floods from the Abilene back through the DFW Metroplex area. Again, we have had some significant flash flooding ongoing, and that's kind of shifting eastward, moving with our thunderstorms, obviously. We do have ourselves 11 flash flood warnings in effect right now across portions of Dixie Alley and the Deep South. So again, if you are out here, make sure that you are staying out of flooded roadways. Again, always remember, turn around, don't drown. It's not worth trying to drive through, 3 or 4 inches of water, because a lot of times you're not going to realize how exactly dangerous that is. A lot of times that will just sweep the entirety of your car off the road. It sounds ridiculous, but it is a very real potential with even just a couple inches of rain. I do not pay to use Stormwater Media's feed. They came in here and told us that we can use it for free. But obviously that's not the case with everybody. But we are very, very glad and very blessed that they are generous enough to let us use their feed over here for free. Again, I really do appreciate those guys over there, and they have helped out this channel so much. But again, continuing to watch the rotating thunderstorm south of Belleville right now. Again, that rotation's starting to tighten up a bit. They're on the south side of Freeburg, Illinois. So if you are in this area, make sure you are in your safe spot. Again, if this does continue to rotate as it moves off to the east-northeast, this is eventually going to make its way towards the communities of Breese, Greenville, Vandalia, and surrounding areas in south-central Illinois. So we did just get an update there to this tornado warning. Again, this is still a radar-indicated threat, including the communities of Freeburg and, I believe, Rentschler there. I think that's how you'd pronounce that. This does not include Smithton anymore. Again, at this point, the rotating portion of this thunderstorm is going to be southeast of the community of Smithton, now moving through Freeburg, pretty much. So if you're in this area, make sure you are remaining in your safe spot. We do have several storm spotters out here on this, so we are likely going to know if this does try to produce a tornado. I will say, again, a couple more supercells trying to develop across far southern sections of Illinois right now. They're just not really going to be able to sustain themselves unless they undergo a merger. That's what saved this one, and again, the environment is just not quite primed out here just yet for that tornadic potential. We've got ourselves like 1,500 joules per kilogram of CAPE in the areas where these thunderstorms are trying to develop, and they're moving north, so that is slowly but surely going to become less and less the further north they go, and eventually it's going to be in an environment where thunderstorms are just not able to survive hardly at all. So again, this is about to undergo another merger here, and I think that's really going to be the only thing saving this storm at this point, because again, I can't stress this enough, guys. It's not like we are in a super mega outbreak high-end setup right now. These storms are honestly just barely in the sector of our instability values that are going to be able to sustain them tornadically. Again, about 2,100 joules per kilogram of CAPE. Obviously, that's really impressive, and that is more than enough to sustain severe thunderstorms and tornadoes. However, you go just 20 miles to the north, you got 300 joules per kilogram of CAPE. So it varies greatly depending on the exact positioning of these thunderstorms, where they develop, where they move, what direction they're moving in, and a lot more. So again, it all comes down to the specific storm interactions to a very, very micro level. So again, that rotation continuing to move across Highway 15 there. This is now going to be in Freeburg. So again, if you are in Freeburg, or honestly at this point, if you're in Mascota, I'd be getting in my safe spot. Again, looking like this is kind of losing some steam here, though, where the hook echo is not quite as noticeable. The area of inflow has kind of disappeared off of the reflectivity, and what appeared to be a rear flank downdraft at one point doesn't really look to be there anymore. I guess that was kind of just a cell merger in the first place, wasn't it? So again, we're going to watch some of these southeastern Missouri storms to try to do the same thing. The potential is still there. It's just not quite as heightened unless they undergo a couple of mergers like this one did. But we do have a couple of storms developing some broad rotation near Festus right now. Why did Tuesday perform well while this day and Monday, despite being more tornadic setups, didn't? I assume you're referring to yesterday's event busting. Well, not necessarily busting, but not quite performing to the expectations. And that was just simply due to the fact that storms were not able to remain discrete. It's a similar story today. Again, this environment out here across portions of North Texas and southern Oklahoma is actually quite tornadically primed. And if we take a look again at those instability values, They are very high out here, obviously, with this kind of late spring, early summer type setup. We've also got ourselves plenty of wind shear. So why are these storms not producing tornadoes? Is because they are linear, and any discrete supercells that we have been seeing have been embedded in our line of storms. They've not been entirely discrete in nature, all right? They've been struggling to produce tornadoes today, but damaging winds have not been an issue whatsoever. And it was kind of a very similar setup yesterday. What's going on, Levi? Trough outlook, yeah. You can kind of tell at this point what the Storm Prediction Center is basing their forecasts on, maybe what's ongoing right now at the surface. But again, it has just been these minuscule things over the past couple of days that have been stopping these severe thunderstorms from quite performing to what we were expecting. Again, today's event was entirely linear. I mean, we had a couple of discrete supercells that ahead of the line that rotated broadly, but the line just went ahead and sucked them right up. They really didn't have much time to survive out here in this environment at all. But again, up here in the portions of southern Illinois, that's not necessarily going to be the case. Again, we're going to watch for these severe thunderstorms to try to rotate and maybe produce a couple of brief tornadoes here across south-central Illinois as well as far southwestern sections of Indiana as we go into the late evening time hours tonight. This is going to be the area where I think we're watching for the greatest potential of a couple of tornadoes. Again, this is the region where our instability and our wind shear overlaps are going to be the greatest. Again, wind shear is not incredibly impressive out here today, but it is enough for these severe thunderstorms to work with, obviously. I mean, the wind shear is definitely there. It's just not quite what we've been dealing with over the events of the past couple days, and not anywhere near what we're dealing with down into portions of the Arklatex area right now. Again, NATOcast, the AI forecasting tool, I put this out on my community tab, had a 30% hatch tornado probability out across portions of the Arklatex area today, and I just cannot wrap my head around how something like that would happen. I know they failed to take into account storm mode quite enough, but even then, if this was an entirely discrete mode, this would not be a high-risk type setup, so I don't know where or how they got that, and it's not even like you can say, oh, it's population bias, because they did it across southeastern Oklahoma, which is arguably the most rural region out here, so it's very hard to see how they got the idea of that, but again, they did put out a 30% hatch tornado probability today for sections of northeast Texas, southeast Oklahoma, and southwest Arkansas. Obviously, that did not perform whatsoever, but man, was that unexpected. Again, obviously, 30% hatch risks are way more common on NATOcast than they are on the official Storm Prediction Center outlooks, but still quite incredibly crazy to see, especially on a day where the mode is entirely linear. So our rotation is continuing to intensify here on the northeast side of Freeburg, Illinois. Again, at this point, I would not be surprised if this does try to produce at least a brief tornado as this moves towards Mascutaw. So if you're in this area, make sure you are remaining in your safe spot. Davis going to get slapped for real. Let's hope so, dude. The only thing that I could see being an issue here is if these storms remain too far myself. But even then, you know, maybe I could do a localized chase tonight. Maybe that's a possibility. I haven't properly done like a storm chase yet where I've been driving, so maybe I need to throw that out there tonight. But again, gonna go ahead and share this out with some of my friends here, obviously, because this is quite a rural area. However, I do know several people that live out here because, newsflash, I live out here if you didn't know. So give me just a second. Share this out on my Snapchat story, all that good stuff. Alrighty. Again, I hope you guys are having an incredible day. Again, sorry if I'm kind of stuttering over my words or slurring my speech. Sometimes as a YouTuber, and many people will tell you this, you just have days where you aren't doing the best whenever it comes to your composition of your speech, what you're thinking. I kind of got some of that brain fog in there today. It's kind of iffy, but, you know, we're going to push through it, and we are going to try to get the best coverage out for you guys possible. So again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, I know all the big names are out there live today covering this. We got Max, Ryan, Evan, so I appreciate all you guys that have decided to support a smaller creator out here trying to do his thing as well. I thought today was Thursday all day. I'm not going to lie, I kind of did too. I don't have school on Friday, so that's kind of been messing up my entire schedule all week long. I've been thinking it's different days than it actually is. But yeah. What's going on, Stiff? I know, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, Carrot. The 30% hatched risk from NATOcast, especially on the non-high-res models, the original NATOcast models, not the 2022 version, I mean, it was huge. Like, that was larger than the average SPC 30% hatched, which is pretty hilarious. So again, our tight area of circulation continuing to move east-northeast. Again, this is just east of Freeburg, Illinois right now. This is going to be approaching Mascoutas and New Baden over the next several minutes. So if you're in this area, make sure you are remaining in your safe spot. Again, preferably on the lowest floor of a sturdy building away from windows and in an interior room. Again, this thing is continuing to undergo a couple of mergers, which is honestly probably the only thing keeping this baby little supercell alive out here. But baby or not, this thing is pretty impressive nonetheless. Again, it's about to cross I-64 near Oakaville and New Baden, so make sure you are staying in your safe spot out here. Again, eventually this is going to make its way into a little bit more of a populated region as it moves further to the north. Again, we got a few communities out here that do have a few thousand people up into portions of Greene, Fayette, and even up in through portions of Effingham County. This supercell is going to have the potential to track through, so we'll continue to watch this as it moves east-northeastward. Again, a lot of these complexes of thunderstorms down here into portions of southeastern Illinois are probably going to try and do something similar and broadly rotate. I will say this supercell is kind of split, and this could potentially increase the tornadic threat if these eventually do merge again. So areas like Olney, West Salem, I'd be on the lookout potentially for a brief tornado threat out here over the next couple of hours, but again, that is based off of the prediction that we will get several storm interactions out of these things, which is not necessarily guaranteed to be the case. So again, going back out here to parts of Texas and Arkansas, at this point mainly just watching for some damaging wind gusts, and I will say that threat will continue throughout the late evening time hours tonight. Taking a look at the HRRR model here, again, our good old buddy that we always try to make sure that we give it some input on every stream. Whoa! Shalaxy with the $5 donation. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. Watch when I can from Northwestern Indiana. W. Shalaxy's in the chat. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. That is incredible. Again, donations are optional, but I really do appreciate the folks that do go above and beyond and decide to donate, because that lets me know that this is going to be a career option for me in the future, and also it just helps out because a lot of times we give back money to the surviving storm victims out here after bigger events. Again, last month we raised over $700 for surviving storm victims across portions of Arkansas and Missouri. So again, I really do appreciate that, Shalaxy. Let's get some W Shalaxies in the chat if you've not thrown any out there already. So I know that we have PA storm trackers up here again. They are actually not back into parts of Illinois, and they're not even back through the Boeco line of storms that we're seeing move through parts of the Arklatex area. They are closer to the Lubbock region again. They're watching these land spouts and brief gustnados and even some weak tornadoes develop out here near Lubbock, Texas. So if you're out here near Lubbock, make sure that you are keeping an eye on that camera because this is a live look at what's happening outside. Again, it's recommended that you guys are staying indoors out there right now in Lubbock, as this does look to be a pretty intense thunderstorm moving through the metro right now with multiple reported land spouts and also reports of quarter-sized hail, as this was just northwest of town. Again, this is going to be moving through the north side of Lubbock, approaching Petersburg and Lorenzo over the next several minutes. So let's go ahead and go back in here to Illinois. Again, still got several spotters on this thing, and no reports yet of an ongoing tornado or funnel cloud or anything like that. So we'll continue to watch this broad area of rotation, but so far it hasn't necessarily correlated to the surface that this is actually trying to do something. If we look higher up into the atmosphere, we can actually see that this is rotating pretty impressively. Again, this is the high-resolution velocity at tilt 2, so we're looking 1.3 degrees up into the atmosphere here. This is going to be about 20,000 feet, I'd imagine. And our velocities are obviously looking quite a bit more impressive at that range. So again, this is rotating quite a bit higher up into the atmosphere, but it's all about if that can translate down to the surface or not. Looking at the high-resolution storm relative velocities, again, you can see we still got that broad area rotation there that's going to be just south of Rentschler at this point, and moving towards Mascoutas over the next several minutes. Again, this is eventually going to be making its way across I-64 and Highway 50. Give me just a second here. Alrighty. Before we continue the stream, I do want to quickly say thank you to Levi for making this thumbnail for me. Levi is goated, not Levi, Tennessee Levi, Pennsylvania Levi. They're both goated, but in particular, we had Pennsylvania Levi make me this thumbnail. He actually made it for me for the April 4th tornado event, I think it was, or April 3rd tornado event maybe, and it just worked so well for today's outlook. I mean, it lined up almost perfectly, so I was like, why not use it again? And he said, all right, go for it. And I was like, okay. So that's how we ended up with this. So thank you to Levi for making me that thumbnail. Again, Again, trying to share this out with all my friends and family that I've got out here, because obviously this area is quite close to where I live. So, know quite a few people out here in this community. Is it just me, or does every 10 hatch event underperform? That has been the question all over Twitter and pretty much all of social media and the weather community lately. I will say this year, the forecasting for several events, similar to last year, has been very, very hard. We've had certain events way overperform, certain events way underperform. There's also just situations where we've got events that have like a high ceiling and a low floor, and then the low floor happens and people are like, oh, it was a bust. It's like, well, it kind of was expected to be, although there was just the potential that it could have done something big. And I think that's what a lot of our 10 hatched events have been this year. Obviously, a lot of our 5% events have overperformed. Take, for example, the Nebraska wedge that we had the other day, which ended up being, I believe, in the top 5 largest tornadoes in Nebraska state history. It was 1.5 miles wide nearly. I mean, it was incredible. Rotation near Comeback, Indiana. Let's check that out. Again, we talked about some of those southwestern Indiana storms. Yeah, wow. So, would not be shocked to see this get a tornado warning here within the next 5 to 10 minutes. This is just south of Washington. They did just issue a severe thunderstorm warning for that. Good call out by Sam there. This is for parts of Highway 50 near Montgomery. So, if you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors immediately. Quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and a tornado possible tag on that severe thunderstorm warning. And we just got an extension of that tornado warning on our Illinois storm. So, this is going out for Trenton, Aviston, and Lebanon. If you're in this area, seek shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. Again, this includes parts of I-64 and Highway 50. This is just east of St. Louis, Missouri. Again, actually some tightening circulation there approaching Mascutah. Still don't know how to pronounce that. Again, no ongoing tornado at this time, but it's very possible that it changes here within the next couple of minutes, especially if this thing undergoes a couple more cell mergers. Constructive cell mergers, as I like to call them. Again, looking higher up into the atmosphere, you can see how those velocities are a lot more impressive. That's starting to correlate to the surface. So, good chance that this does try to produce a tornado here within the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'd say. So, if you're in New Baden, Mascutah, or Trenton, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately. Absolutely ground scraping wedge for southeast Alabama. Or what are we? Is this something that I need to look at, or are you just stating a event? Talbot in Georgia. I don't see anything. I don't know if you're just referring to a past event. Okay. Sorry. I was confused there. I was like, there's legitimately nothing happening. I will say there are going to be a couple of thunderstorms across portions of Dixie Alley today, but that's just the way that these the late spring, early summer events go across parts of the southeast quadrant here. As we've stated a lot recently, I mean, these events down here in like portions of Alabama and Georgia usually are just big-time windbags in the summer. Okay, so the Storm Prediction Center actually did just go ahead and issue a tornado watch for portions of southeastern Missouri, central Illinois, and west central Indiana. If you're in this area, make sure that you are prepared over the next couple of hours. Again, a couple tornadoes are going to be possible across this region. This tornado watch goes all the way from St. Louis to the south side of the Indianapolis metro. Give me just a second here. So again, brand new tornado watch there. That's going out until 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern. These are the communities that we're looking at included in that tornado watch there. So again, you can see Sullivan, Missouri, St. Louis, Centralia, Effingham, even Terre Haute, Indiana included in that tornado watch there, all the way out through Seymour, Indiana, along I-65. So again, if you are in this area, make sure you are prepared over the next couple of hours. Some severe thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes are likely going to be moving through this area between now and about 8 or 9 p.m., I'd say. New scan of the velocities here for a tornado warning storm in Illinois. Still some broad but strong rotation there approaching Mascutah. Yeah, I talked about this the other day. Why did I say the other day? I talked about this earlier today. on Twitter. April 26th, 2024, keep in mind, had the same exact tornado probabilities from the Storm Prediction Center as today's event in the Arklatex area. Let that sink in for a second. Again, that's not, oh, let's go shame the SPC and call them losers. They're the best forecasting system out there. Forecasting center, I don't know why I called them a system like it's AI. But I will say it is pretty ironic. Again, April 26th happened to be an event that well overperformed across portions of the Central Plains, especially parts of Nebraska and Iowa. And today was an event that was not expected to have nearly the potential of April 26th, but we weren't expecting the floor to necessarily be this low unless legitimately no discrete supercells managed to survive ahead of the line, and that's kind of what happened. So, again, I mean, it's pretty funny, but... So again, we're going to continue to watch this strong area of rotation as it approaches I-64 just east of O'Fallon. Again, this is in the far eastern outer suburbs of St. Louis, east of the Mississippi River on the Illinois side of the state line. If this does continue to rotate here, we're likely going to see the next tornado warning here with this thunderstorm come out for areas like Breeze, areas south of Greene County there in southwestern Illinois. But again, this is about to undergo another little cell merger here, so we'll see what this does. It could either kill the storm or it could intensify it even further. But again, if you are included in this tornado warning, you need to make sure that you are staying in your safe spot. It's heading for me. I don't know about that. I mean, there's a high likelihood that that would go well north of me, even if it does continue to rotate somehow all the way by the time it gets to me. By the way, there's that brand new tornado watch. Again, it hasn't come in its entirety yet, but there it is for parts of southwestern Indiana. This is a 40-20 tornado watch, so a 40% chance of, I believe, 2 or more tornadoes occurring within this watch polygon over the next several hours here. New severe thunderstorm warning going out for parts of southern Missouri. A little supercells managed to develop out kind of just north of where our bow echo is, right out ahead of the line of storms here. This is going out for Bradleyville, Missouri. So if you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors immediately. This is for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour damaging wind gusts. Hot take, the Essex, Iowa tornado is not violent. I can see that point. Again, really all that we have to say, oh, it was violent off of was the velocities, which isn't always an indicator in of itself if a tornado is violent or not. I mean, it's an indicator, but it's not a confirmation. So you can certainly make the case for that, but just based off of the pure size of it and those velocities combined, I don't know, man. I mean, again, the definition of violent would be wind gusts over 170 miles per hour, or 165 miles an hour, I guess. Which, did we have that associated with that tornado? Maybe, maybe not. Size doesn't mean a violent tornado. Well, I understand that, but a lot of times, obviously, it's an indicator that it could be. I mean, you're not going to see a 15-mile wide, tornado producing EF0 damage. So it's not a complete confirmation that it was violent, but it's an indicator. Nobody said anything about drill bits, but again, I acknowledge that smaller tornadoes can be violent and larger tornadoes don't have to be, but if you look at the general trends, obviously, most of the time, the larger the tornado, generally, the stronger it is. Again, that's not every case, but it's a good, kind of broad thing to say. You're rizzing up the huzz. Good for you. I have tried that many a times, and it has not worked out. Alright, thank you, Sam. Actually, if it didn't hit anything, it would likely be rated EF unknown. Anyway, again, this supercell here in southwestern Indiana continuing to push northward. Again, the instability values out here aren't super impressive, but if we take a look at the HRRR model, we can see that they do exist. But again, the further north you go, the more poor they get. So, probably not going to have to watch that too closely. I really think this Belleville storm's done here as well. I think this merger was probably the final nail in the coffin. New severe thunderstorm warning going out for Fairfield, Texas. This is for some golf ball-sized hail and damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. There's also likely some rotation associated with this here going across I-45 right now. But you can kind of see that inflow notch is becoming less impressive by the scan. And obviously, these velocities are nowhere near realistic because of how far we are away from the radar site out here, but definitely some broad rotation there, so if you're in this area, make sure you are prepared to seek shelter if a tornado warning does get issued. But, again, we are looking about 100 miles away from where this actual radar site is that we're getting this data from, so not necessarily super accurate. I don't even, like, where is the radar site? There it is. Okay. Again, since I have the spotter dots on now, it kind of blends in. But yeah, we're about 95 miles away from the actual radar site here. East Texas is a horrible radar hole, and it's such a bad area to have one in. Where's the Costco guy short? I don't know if I want to release it or not, just to make people wait and guess if I'm being serious or not. You know what? We'll bring up the video live here on stream. I'm not going to upload it yet, but we'll bring it up. This is unbelievable. And again, I wasn't even in the stream when this happened. I didn't even know that this happened until Mr. Twister was like, hey, I got you shouted out by the Costco guys. It's like, okay. So, your boy got some big booms.
Davis does weather brings the boom.
Boom! Alright, I need to stop before I lose all my subscribers. But, yes, we did get a shout-out from the Costco guys. It is true. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it happened. So, yep, I just unsubbed. Oh, gosh, here we go. Anyways, continuing to watch our rotation associated with our tornado warning storm in Illinois. Again, this is moving over Mascouton now, getting much more broad by every velocity scan as we were predicting. Again, this is going to continue to rotate, though, most likely, at least broadly, as it moves its way over towards New Baden and Trenton. And again, looking at the velocities at a higher point in the atmosphere here, still not super impressive, quite broad in general. The Davis does weather mass unfollowing. Gosh, dude. Speaking of which, don't do that, but let's do the opposite. If you are new here, make sure to like and subscribe. We do this every day for areas all across the country, even when nobody else is here. We are only 17 subscribers away from 4,200, chat. This is unbelievable. William, how's it going? The GOAT, once again in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Whoa, 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 folks. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, William with the $10 donation. Get some W. Williams in the chat. I think, William, I also missed another donation from you yesterday, so sorry about that. But W's in the chat for William with a $10 donation. William is, again, just the GOAT. I mean, there's no debating it. Alan, William, and I kind of have to include John White, the GOATs of the Davis's weather community. So thank you so much, William, for that $10 donation. That is incredible. Again, spam up those W. Williams down below in the chat. He's always here. He's always supportive. He's always amazing. Look at that structure that PA Storm Trackers has right now. Again, that storm has had off and on land spouts associated with it, so we'll see what happens. But, again, W. Williams down below in the chat. He's goated. But in all seriousness, thank you so much, William, for another $10 donation. Incredible stuff. And that, my good sir, puts you right there at the top of the dono board. Alrighty. How's it going, William? Wondering if you missed anything? Absolutely not. You really didn't miss too much at all. For anybody wondering, we actually talked about this yesterday on stream, but it is confirmed that our Ohio Valley/Pittsburgh event was not a derecho. There were not enough 75-mile-an-hour plus gusts, hurricane force gusts, to verify it as a derecho. Again, it tracked long enough. Everything else was A-okay. It would have been considered quite a large derecho, but it was all because we did not have quite enough 75-plus mile-an-hour gust records or recording gusts of those. We did not have enough 75-mile-an-hour plus gusts recorded or reported. So, again, I cannot talk today, chat. Everybody on YouTube knows you have those days where you are just not in your flow. That is where I am today, so I'm very sorry. My speech is going to be very stuttered, very slurred. I just proved my point right there, but yeah, I mean, that's what I thought too. I didn't realize there was a certain number of 75 plus mile an hour gusts that had to be reported, but I mean, not a whole lot we can do about it. Again, I mean, that was one of the most destructive storms that the Pittsburgh Metro has seen in quite a while. And they're like, oh, there weren't enough 75 plus mile an hour gusts recorded. Y'all do realize that Appalachia is not very populated and they don't have a lot of mesonets out there that record gusts, right? I don't understand it, but I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter. But again, devastating, damaging wind event occurred across portions of the Ohio Valley and Appalachia yesterday. Still got quite a few thousand customers without power there. I say quite a few thousand, I mean tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands even. Yeah, we've got over 300,000 customers in Pennsylvania without power, over 27,000 in Ohio without power, and over 10,000 in West Virginia without power. And even from the damaging wind event and tornado event that we had in Springfield, Missouri, again, I don't know why nobody is talking about this. We had damaging winds between 100 and 110 miles an hour consistently recorded in Springfield. We had widespread power outages, and we still do. We still have over half the city without power after 2 days of the event. We still are seeing more reports of tornado damage come in. There were quite a few brief tornadoes that spun up in that area with that line of storms. So, again, a devastating, damaging wind event that hit Springfield. Again, I mean, just we can't bring up any photos on stream, but looking at the photos of this, I mean, it was awful. Again, one of the largest damaging wind events that we've seen so far this year, if not the largest. I mean, it was extreme. Again, I mean, there are structures legitimately destroyed. But again, I hope people are able to get some help out there. Obviously, not a good thing to see something like that hit anywhere, but especially in a metro area. That is just awful. And again, a couple of tornadoes as well associated with that line of storms. I mean, it is very widespread, significant damage. Obviously, it's not just Springfield either. It's surrounding areas, but Springfield, the biggest city in this region. Joplin got hit pretty hard as well. But again, the core of the activity just west of Springfield. Davis ain't getting nothing. All right, buddy. We'll see. I'm going to go chasing tonight just to prove you wrong. I'm going to go chasing tonight. No, I'm kidding. I was probably going to go chasing tonight anyways, but I really do want to see if I can get you guys some structure footage tonight from sections of southeastern Illinois. It's what I like to call events like this because, yes, there's the chance that we end up seeing a couple of tornadoes tonight, but let's be real here. For Southern Illinois, this is going to be a structure fest. People talk about how the plains have the best chasing terrain. That's because it's flat and grassy. Southern Illinois and Southern Indiana have that exact same thing going for them. So, I mean, we've got an incredible setup tonight for a structure fest. You're chasing tonight on a school night? All right, buddy. I will say, though, there's, again, the very real chance that we do see a couple of brief tornadoes tonight whenever our instability values peak across far southern Illinois here. Again, mainly looking like a damaging wind event here, though, on the 20Z run of the ARRR, I'll be honest with you guys. And that damaging wind event slabs me. So, we'll hope that that happens. But again, I think while these cells are still semi-discrete, if that happens, it would probably be around 8 p.m. That's where our greatest tornado threat would come in, especially across parts of southern Illinois and southwestern Indiana. And again, obviously, cells are even more discrete right now, but the problem is we don't have hardly any instability, even, at the area where these storms are at right now, but especially if you go further north. Again, I say that like it's no instability. It's not no instability. At this point, the area that our tornadic supercell is moving over right now has about 2,200 joules per kilogram of surface-based cape, which is obviously more than enough to bring some tornadoes. But keep in mind, this is going to be tracking east-northeastward. You go legitimately 15 miles to the north. Sorry, about 20 miles to the north. You have 200 joules per kilogram of surface-based cape. So it varies heavily depending on the exact locations that these storms are moving in, the exact locations that they're at currently, the direction they're moving in. Every single change in these storms' movements are going to completely throw off the course of their severe weather and especially their tornadic potential. Alright, well, I'm not talking about Carbondale and Salem. Alright, I'm not going to that region. We're talking east central / southeast Illinois. Specifically, like, Jasper, Crawford County area. Very flat, open. A lot of corn, which corn sweat obviously does increase moisture content, especially during the summer. But, you know, that would be fun, Kevin, but there's not really any. There's only been one tornado recorded in city limits of my town. We almost had one with April 2nd, and it would have been a wedge 2/3 of a mile wide that tracked for 50 miles, but it did not quite technically make it into the city limits. It went just north. So, I would, but it's not super impressive. Here's the interesting thing about it, though. If you guys don't know, my birthday is February 9th, 2010. The only tornado to ever go within my town's city limits was on February 9th, 1960. Exactly 50 years to the dot, the day before I was born. Or, sorry, the day that I was born. The only tornado to ever hit my town occurred. And fun fact, it went right over the house that I am sitting in right now. And my old house before this. So, I mean, there's definitely some correlation there. You know, like correlation coefficient. I'm just not funny, dude. I'm going to give up. I'm quitting YouTube. This is my announcement. As soon as you go north of Effingham on I-57, you see corn and whiskey. It's about right. And a lot of horses. But I'll tell you what. Chasing terrain couldn't be better. And I wouldn't want it any other way. This house probably would have been Mr. Twister. Fun fact, this house was built during World War II. And the guy that built it was very paranoid. So we have a bomb shelter in our house. So, whenever I need to seek shelter, whenever it's actually time to go, I have a spot. Davis says, whether quitting announcement hasn't happened. I remember last year, not this year for April 1st, but last year for April 1st, I did the I'm quitting YouTube. Why would I do that? It's not funny, and it's been done a million times. I don't know why I did that. Now, usually we just go into the basement in general. Again, with the April 2nd event, I mean, that was legitimately a time to seek shelter, because if that shift in the tornado's track didn't happen at the last second, that 2/3 of a mile wide tornado would have hit me head on. And I'm going to say it, if that tornado actually hit a town directly, it would have gotten an EF3+ rating. It was already rated high-end EF2, and it hit no actual area that has any sort of remnants of a population. And pretty much every single shed, garage, whatever kind of outbuilding out there that it hit got completely destroyed. So, alright, see you, Sam. Thank you for tuning in, bro. But yeah, the problem is, I couldn't stay down there any longer. We had a tornado emergency going for during the Lake City tornado. And that was the second where I was like, alright, I'm getting up. I don't care if I die, I'm getting up. I mean, I just checked Storm Intermedia's feed, and they have legitimately the tornado of the year ongoing. By the way, I don't actually think that was the tornado of the year now. After the Nebraska tornado, I would consider the Nebraska tornado the tornado of the year, but a lot of people are saying that it didn't dethrone Lake City. It was larger than Lake City. It was most likely stronger than Lake City. It was longer tracking than Lake City. It was more photogenic than Lake City. I don't know how it can't be considered the tornado of the year, but for some reason it's not. So. Lake City had better views. I would heavily disagree with that. I mean, we had people going into the Gorham tornado, basically. I'm just going to refer to it as the Nebraska tornado, because nobody actually knows these little towns out here. Or Bingham, not Gorham, sorry. See, even I got the name wrong. Fun fact, Whitman, obviously less than, 30 miles away from there. Also, an unnecessarily large wedge. That one was quite a bit more controversial, though, for different reasons. A lot of you guys probably know what I'm talking about, but we're not going to bring that up right now because I don't want to start a riot. So again, still some strong circulation there approaching Trenton, Illinois, so if you're in this area, make sure you are staying in your safe spot. Ooh, here's the map I could talk about. I am thinking about starting my next tornado documentary on the March 12th, 2006 Missouri tornado outbreak. Usually I don't say what I'm going to do before I actually do it, but this time I am. Just because I want to give you guys some time to research the event yourself, because this is an event that is not necessarily known by the entirety of the weather community. But it is one that it's very close to home. It was one of the largest tornado outbreaks in central Missouri history, and overall, very impressive event from a meteorological perspective. So, yeah, and again, a lot of people like to contest the EF4 rating for Mayfield. I think it's appropriate. Again, you got to remember the structure of these houses out here is not like they're, incredible. So, I did not see what you said, Storm Chaser 575. Again, this thing has kind of cycled a couple of times, but rotation's still pretty impressive. They're just north of I-64 near New Baden, approaching Trenton and Aviston. So if you're in this area, make sure you are staying in your safe spot. Again, if we look at the storm relative velocities, we can see exactly where our area rotation is. They're just north of I-64. We have a couple more supercells starting to pop up here in southern Illinois, the most notable one being near Mount Vernon and Woodlawn. And this thing has merged a couple of times, so there's a potential that this tries to do something big. Again, instability values aren't quite all that the further north you go here, though. Again, once you get past this band of, 2,000 plus Cape, it very quickly goes downhill. Cannot stress that enough. And I think that overall is going to limit our tornado threat for today significantly, since these storms are moving north-northeast. But again, as they remain in southern Illinois, there is a good chance that we do see a couple of tornadoes out of these. And again, even a relatively strong one can't be ruled out, as cell merging is going to be quite common, but not bad enough to the point where, we're not going to have a discrete environment. So, again, our strong area of circulation just went through New Baden, Illinois, approaching Albers and Aviston. Again, no ongoing tornado at this time, but it would not shock me if that changed here pretty soon. We're likely going to see a new tornado warning get issued here within the next 5 minutes or so for areas like Breese and south of Pocahontas, so if you are in this area, make sure you are prepared to seek shelter. Honestly, shocking Mayfield hit something that could be given 190. Yeah, I think that's just because it tracked for so long. Eventually, it had to. I don't even remember. I know the 190 DI was obviously in Mayfield, but I don't remember exactly what it looks like. But yeah, people freak out at Mayfield and Valonia. Valonia, in my opinion, did deserve absolutely to be rated EF5, but Mayfield, if you asked me a year ago if Mayfield should have been an EF5, I would have told you yes. That was whenever I had much less knowledge about damage contextuals. It was in Dawson Springs? I thought the actual 190 was in Mayfield. There were some EF4 DIs in Dawson Springs, but I thought the 190 was in Mayfield. Am I wrong? Okay, Greenfield was in the F5, though. No comment. Don't even want to start anything with that one. Greenfield is too recent not to start a riot whenever you talk about it. I mean, legitimately, I could say anything about it and people would disagree. I could say it was a tornado and somebody would freak out. June 1st actually uploaded an incredible video on it yesterday. Discussing how it is the most controversial tornado in Iowa State history, most likely. But just a great documentary overall. Obviously, he had his video right after it happened of a damage analysis, but this is a full video. I mean, it was incredible. Yeah, I saw you reply to it, Mr. Twister. Very professionally put together. Again, that was the June 1st. Ethan is one of the people that has inspired me to make those documentary-style videos, which is arguably the most successful series on my channel. So even though he doesn't even know who I am, I'm very thankful that he does what he does. Otherwise, I would not be doing this nearly as much as I do. The thing was an earthquake, I know, right? It was a land hurricane. It was secretly just the remnants of a dahlia from 2023. Weatherbox as well as Sweggle. You just said Sweggle there as well. Yeah, those were the main ones that inspired me. And then Convective Chronicles as well. Although I'll be completely honest with you, until probably a year ago or so, did I understand what he was talking about? Not nearly as much as I do now. He's very good at explaining what he means, and different extremely complex meteorological features that I don't think anybody else could explain it nearly as well as he does. And again, some of the things I still don't understand just because they are just genuinely that far in depth. I mean, it's incredible. Again, as a nerd, I am just wowed by his videos, and how often he's able to throw those things out is unbelievable as well. I mean, he posts, like, every few days. I don't know how he keeps up that consistency. He has a job outside of YouTube. I mean, it's related to weather, but still, I don't understand. Anyways, again, looking at the velocities higher up in the atmosphere here, we can see that this is a very tight and quite a strong area of rotation as well, just west of Breese. So, good chance that if that does translate to the surface, we will have a ongoing tornado here very shortly. Again, still a radar-indicated tornado warning. They are almost certainly going to reissue this for areas near and around Breese over the next several minutes. So if you are in Breese, make sure that you're ready to seek shelter. Happy birthday, Mr. Packer. How's it going? Mitch West inspired you. Mitch West is a GOAT. Mitch West, Ryan, Max, especially Ryan, they inspired my passion for weather in general. But again, doing a deep dive on historical tornado events, that comes from Sweggle, June 1st, Convective Chronicles, and Weatherbox. And a couple others as well. Carly Anna does great documentaries. If it wasn't for Ryan Hall, I wouldn't be doing this at all. It was the night that I saw his live stream, and I was like, wait, people actually cover tornadoes live on YouTube with radar and chasers and everything, and they get hundreds of thousands of people to enjoy it? That's incredible. So again, new velocity scan. They're still showing that strong area of rotation northwest of Albers. Again, that's going to be approaching Aveston and Breese over the next several minutes. Again, I'm slipping up today, guys. I didn't even see it, Mr. Twister. Alright, calm down. No brain rot today. Nope, no brain rot. No brain rot. We're not bringing this back. There was a point in time like a year ago where every stream would just be a brain rot outbreak. Oh, that is a good question. For me, it would be, my house would be an EF5DI if it was entirely slab with everything shifted and thrown away. Because again, I legitimately have a bomb shelter in my house. Built to withstand bombs and missiles during World War II. Yeah, a lot of people don't like Evan because they disagree with him on certain things. And I'm not saying that he's the best weather forecaster of all time, but I think the amount of hate he gets is a little undeserved. He knows just as much as everybody else that means anything in the weather community on the subject. And his consistency is unmatched. New severe thunderstorm warning going out for our Indiana Supercell. Guys, I'm not doing well. Again, my speech is very messed up today. But new severe thunderstorm warning going out for our Supercell over Lugudi, Indiana. If you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors immediately. It's a warning for quarter-sized hail and damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. Yeah, again, I wish he didn't make videos where he was just like, this is clickbait, and this is clickbait. It's like, alright, worry about yourself, please. But, I mean, he is a phenomenal forecaster. Yeah, again, Convective Chronicles explains it all in a way that is easy to understand. Okay, so they did go ahead and extend that tornado warning again. This is going out for parts of Highway 50 just south of I-70 for Carlisle and Breese in Illinois. If you're in this area, make sure you are seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building away from windows and in an interior room. Again, your area of circulation right now is going to be located just over Albers. This storm has just not stopped rotating here, so we'll see what happens. Again, this is in southwestern Illinois, just east of St. Louis. Again, your area of circulation is going to go dangerously close to Breese here, so make sure that you are seeking shelter. In addition to that, still a couple of supercells trying to make their way through far southern Illinois, but they're starting to get to the area where our instability values drop a lot. Again, right now, they're still dealing with like 1,600, 1,700 joules per kilogram of surface cape, but, you know, you go 20 miles north, you're not seeing anywhere near that. So, likely that those supercells aren't going to be able to sustain themselves. This one has, just because of all the mergers it's undergone, in my opinion. And again, once it's fully developed like this, sometimes they are very hard to kill. It takes them a while to die out. Yours would be a EF3 to EF4 house. What weather app am I using? I'm using Radar Omega, available on iOS and Android. Most capable radar app on the market, in my opinion anyways. Again, not a sponsor, but I love the app. I'm going to be honest, that's probably the most asked question on this channel, is what radar app do I use? It is and forever will be Radar Omega until they shut down. Yeah, you can have your weather-wise, you can have your scope. Alright, I kind of like scope. You can have your weather-wise, but Omega is where it's at. And it forever will be. So again, new reflectivity scan just came in. Still pretty impressive little inflow notch there just north of Okawville. So still likely some circulation there just north of Elbers. Two-story brick house that was built in the 50s, so I don't know. The Pettis and Evan beef is wild. Well, for a while there was Max Evan beef, which was a whole nother breed. Because you've got two of the colossals, two of the titans in the WX Twitter community just going at it. And, I mean, it was pretty entertaining. But I still think that it is better for us to be one big happy family, especially during the spring, because, you know, we don't want people to be just dogging on forecasters for no reason, because that can ruin people's lives whenever you start talking about false allegations. And, you know, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Oh, they steal thumbnails. Oh, they clickbait. It messes up a lot. And it makes everybody involved look bad. So I thought about it, Dahani, but I kind of like doing everything myself. I just kind of have that mentality that, you know, if I'm making everything automatic, what am I really contributing that not everybody else can do? Again, obviously, I wanted automatic warnings, and again, huge shout out to Pettis for making that possible, but that's more so just a convenience thing, and it makes our streams higher quality. What would I do in an EF5 slabber if I have no basement or shelter? You know, people have asked me to make a video on that subject. I mean, you know, ideally I'd want to say get on the lowest floor of a sturdy building away from windows and in an interior room, but in a slabber EF5, you're not surviving that unless you've got a basement or a storm shelter. So, what could you do? Find somewhere that does, or just be done. Game over, I guess. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but at that point you legitimately don't have too many options. Pray. Yeah, that would be the thing that I did, but I know a lot of people don't have that same mindset. So again, new reflectivity scan just came in. I will say our area of inflow not quite as impressive. You can actually see that little inflow trail there on reflectivity still. This little gray band. Again, sign of some pretty strong rotation, most likely still southwest of Breeze, but there's not once been any reports of ground circulation or even a funnel. So, no ongoing tornado here quite yet. Again, we would know because it would not be rain wrapped, and we have like a dozen spotters out here. So, and believe it or not, this is actually a somewhat populated area. It's whenever you start going a little bit further north that it gets a lot emptier. I mean, like past Vandalia and Greenville and the I-70 corridor, but like say Montgomery County, very rural. I will say it is fun to cover these local events because I can just point out town names and county names and everything and be like, hey, I know what the terrain's like out here. The gas station's on this side of town. It's going to get hit. So that is a huge upside to being able to cover local events. Yeah, the I-70 corridor is probably one of the most populated interstates in the country. I mean, it goes from Pittsburgh all the way back through Utah. I don't know why I circled into Nevada, but you've got Pittsburgh, you've got Columbus, you've got Indianapolis, you've got, what am I saying? You've got St. Louis, you've got Columbia, you've got Kansas City, you've got Topeka, you've got Denver, you've got so many different major metros throughout America. If you're asking about Peoria, like, will you see anything tonight? No. Nope. Peoria, again, has no instability. That was a bad voice crack, but no instability. Some thunder showers, maybe, sure. Maybe some brief bursts of heavy rain, but no sort of tornado threat that far north. Again, I cannot speak today, chat. I'm trying. Give me a break. I would not do that, Oryx. Please don't do that. At least not here, not now. We don't know if anybody else lives there right now. I mean, you might, but let's not do that. You know, there was somebody in class today that came up to me and said, it would be so cool if fire tornadoes were a thing, and I said, I've got some fun news for you. Believe it or not, fire tornadoes are actually real, and of course everybody thought I was being an idiot whenever I said that, but no, they are real things. But that's a topic for another day. The highest rated fire tornado of all time was rated at EF3 intensity. I have to imagine it has to be so hard to survey damage for. Because how do you know what was destroyed by the fire and what was just tornado damage? Dude, this would be a fire classroom of people. We do the Davis Does Weather meetup one day. One day. They always go west or south. Yeah, there's a bunch of idiots that try to, like, catch me on stuff to see if I really don't know what I'm talking about. And they'll make up anything to make me fold. But, no, you are just simply wrong. And again, I'm not some ultimate forecaster that knows everything. I still have a lot to learn, but... Alrighty, so again, continuing to watch this area of circulation move through Breese. Again, very possible that this does try to produce a tornado over the next hour or so. Again, the only thing stopping this would be the lack of instability the further north you go. But that hasn't stopped it so far. It'll continue to get more extreme, though. I think eventually it probably will stop it. Again, we're starting to get to that cutoff line of our impressive instability value band. I will say ARRR does have, again, several discrete supercells just raging here. They even give one of them a little hook echo there through portions of central Illinois. But again, we haven't talked a lot about the Arklatex bow echo. That is because it is quite literally just weakening. There's nothing else to say. I suppose we could talk about the ongoing flooding, but we don't have a lot of live views of that. Don't have a lot of chasers out here. A lot of them abandoned ship as soon as this thing started to weaken out and the 10 hatch was dropped. New severe thunderstorm warning just issued. That's going to be going out for portions of Arkansas. That's for Camden and Fordyce. If you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors immediately. This is for damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour. Kind of right in the middle there of our bow echo. So again, if you are in this region, make sure you are taking the proper precautions of moving indoors and away from windows. But this is going to have significantly weakened, most likely, by the time it gets to the other end of this warning polygon. Again, look at all that spotter convergence out there on our Tornado 1 storm. Still some broad rotation near Breeze. So we'll continue to watch this. I mean, it hasn't lost its steam quite yet. Oh, there was a message. I think probably what happened is you didn't see it because it got filtered by the automatic thing. But there was a very nasty message there. And I think I know exactly who it was as well. Yeah, it was Kevin. Yep. Kevin is Ian Hawk counted to infinity twice. Also, Mr. Twister, no, it was not actually Kevin. He texted me, was it actually Kevin? Sorry to expose you there, but I'm going to be honest. I still believe that Hackleburg Phil Campbell was stronger than Smith Phil. I don't know why I zoomed in on Arkansas, but you can't change my mind. You genuinely can't. And before people start saying, well, this, and this happened, I want to have a whole separate stream dedicated to that topic. Or I could just do, weather hot take of the week, which some of those have been extremely controversial, but we get some good opinions out of everybody. The thing I like about it is it really makes you use your head, because a lot of times we just assume things, and we assume them to be true, obviously. But whenever you really stop and think about it, is that really true? Or is that just a mentality that I've had for the past few years for no reason? I think especially in the weather community, we do that a lot. Birch Creek Moore was stronger than both. I'd have to disagree there. Due to a lack of evidence. What did I say? Is it about Hackleburg Phil Campbell? And people are going to be like, oh, you put it number 2 in your top 10 list, so your top 10 list was wrong? Yes, that top 10 list changes all the time. And any good weather enthusiast does. Because at a point, you have to admit that you don't know everything about every violent tornado, and you have to make some changes in your opinions. And as stubborn as I am most of the time, I'm willing to do that. And I'm willing to admit that I do that as well. Can't even find the top 10 list. Where is it? We did just have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's going to be going out for areas northeast of Washington, Indiana. Our Supercell here has got itself a little buddy. So if you're in Cannelberg or Ragglesville, make sure you are moving indoors and away from windows. This is warned for damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour, half-dollar sized hail, and it does have that tornado possible tag on it, as it is possible that does try to develop at least some broad circulation over the next few minutes. So again, make sure you are getting indoors immediately and away from windows. Where's my top 10 list? If somebody knows my top 10 list, please send it in the chat. I'm asking people to give me my top 10 list, but alrighty. It's 6 days ago. Was it only 6 days ago? Oh, it was. I will say I think that I kind of overhyped Gwyn maybe a little bit. I don't know if that would necessarily be number 5, but I think that it's a lot more extreme than people give it credit for. They did just update this tornado warning, by the way. Still radar indicated. But if you're in this area, you do need to remain in your safe spot as we still have some broad circulation over Breese and near Snearlyville. Just west of Carlisle along Highway 50. But, yeah, I mean, maybe I overhyped Xenia as well a little bit. I think Xenia, number 7's a little generous. Oh, you guys don't know what the whoosh noise is? I've talked about it a couple times before. I almost just don't want to say anything just to leave you guys on the edge of your seats. That has got to be hilarious, though, not knowing what that is, because that probably sounds so weird and so random. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not making fun of anybody, because this happened on Max's stream before I was really into weather. I didn't know what it was either. That is the new radar scan coming in sound. I've had people think it's me sneezing, people thinking it's me breathing really heavy. I've heard it all. But yeah. Is El Reno 2013 top 3 for me? See, it's so hard to place, like, 1 through 5. But maybe El Reno below El Reno Piedmont and Bridge Creek more. I still think that El Reno 2013 is underrated, though. I think people say, oh, it was just outdated, there's no damage to confirm it. What did you want it to do? Rip out chunks of the earth? There was nothing out there. And I would like to note, I know the Dow wasn't on most of these other violent tornadoes, but no Dow measurement has matched El Reno 2013. And I know obviously Smithville and Hackleburg didn't have a Dow to the same degree, to the same location, but I would like to note, none of them get even close to matching it. No tornado ever. Okay, well, they get close, but Greenfield did not. It's not confirmed. I'd agree with that, Kevin. Okay, so they did just go ahead and tornado warn our Indiana storm. So, again, if you are out here in Ragglesville, make sure you are seeking shelter immediately. Again, we do have some broad circulation there near Candleburg. So, again, get onto the lowest floor of a sturdy building away from windows and in an interior room. This is going out for portions of Martin and Davies counties. Again, this is probably not going to last with that level of rotation too long, though, and even now it's pretty broad. Speaking of which, our tornado warning storm in Illinois, it's still going, but velocities are slowly but surely getting less and less impressive. So we'll see. We're not even talking about the ongoing situation. We've just been yapping all stream. Sometimes those are the best streams, though, are the yap fests. You can turn it on in the settings, Donnie. But I mean, I completely agree with the tri-state. See, I don't know about all time, but it's pretty close. Do a ranking of every tornado year since 2010 on how many violent tornadoes occurred. You want me to, like, guess? Okay, hold on. Before we do that, I gotta use the restroom. I gotta get my thinking cap on. That was so weird. I'll be right back. Well, the least would be 2018. Second least would be 2013. Then 2010. I'm not necessarily sure what would come after that. 2023. This is not going well. We gotta prank Davis. Don't say anything the whole time. That did not click, Arcs. You know, whenever I prank somebody, whenever I bully them, at least it actually works. Go check out the new WX Clips video if you're confused. I'm good at bullying people. Not really. Yeah, 2011 is obviously number 1. Then 2020. But what's after that? Bodil is a tornado that I've almost thought about documenting, but I will never be able to match the quality of Ethan's documentary on it. Davis is a big belly. We're gonna go and screenshot that one as well. Probably Parkersburg. Sorry, how is it pronounced? Bodil. Bowdle? Is it Bowdle? Why did I think it was Bodil? I could have swore it's pronounced Bodil. Am I tripping? By the way, velocity is continuing to strengthen here just northwest of Beckmeyer. So if you're in this area, make sure you are remaining in your safe spot. Again, your rotation would be just along Highway 50 east of Breese. Again, this is probably the strongest this rotation has been in the entirety of the Supercell's life cycle. So, if it was going to produce something, it would be right about now. Again, it would be approaching Marydale and to Malco. New severe thunderstorm warning that's going to be going out for sections of Kentucky here. This is for a little supercell that's managed to develop near Cynthiana. So if you're in this area, make sure you're moving indoors immediately. Some quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour damaging wind gusts possible with that one. Sorry, I just had thoughts earlier today. You know whenever you'll just be sitting somewhere and you'll randomly start laughing because you think about something that happened earlier today? It is Bodil? Alright. Didn't you leave a comment on that video, Kevin? I feel like I saw your comment on that video. On the June 1st video. Let's see. Bodil. Where's it at? Here it is. The ultimate tornado chase. I feel like I saw your comment on there. Oh, I see Mr. Twisters as well. Anyways. No, you're good. So again, new velocity scan just came in. Or, sorry, no it didn't. What am I talking about? We'll wait for this here. Okay. So now the new velocity scan really did come out. Again, your rotation at this point going to be just north of Beckmeyer. Along Highway 50. This is going to be approaching Marydale. Again, these thunder showers in southern Illinois, as we said, they're going to struggle to rotate whatsoever. But honestly, that could change here pretty soon. Our instability values are going to be peaking as peak heating hours get closer and closer. Again, taking a look at the surface-based cape here, we're going to be dealing with those values reaching 3,500 to potentially even up to 4,000 in localized areas. The HRR's backed off a little bit on that idea, but still by 7 p.m., I mean, you know, isolated areas, again, getting 3,000 to 3,500 joules per kilogram of surface cape, so definitely going to be enough to fire off some severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, that's for sure. New severe thunderstorm warning going out for parts of Arkansas. This is for the north side of the Little Rock metro. If you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors immediately. This is for damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. Yeah, just because of glasses. And again, people are like, why do you not wear your glasses during your stream? Are you insecure? No. It is because of this awful glare. I mean, look at this. This is ridiculous. You can't even see my eyeballs. PA Storm Trackers has had some beautiful structure the entire stream. And that's just how the Texas Panhandle is. I did not need to see that, Josh. But again, some significant damaging winds there still moving through portions of Arkansas. I even think that that's going to die out pretty soon here, though, pretty shortly. Again, our storm in Indiana that's tornado warned, not anything impressive whatsoever. At this point, it's actually the eastern supercell there that's got some rotation associated with it. Just northeast of Shoals. I would not be shocked if they threw out a tornado warning for that. Did you hear that alliteration? Shoals and shocked. So tornado warning has just been updated with our Illinois storm. Still a radar-indicated tornado warning. Again, this is just north of Beckmeyer. So make sure that you are staying in your safe spot. Again, on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. New severe thunderstorm warning going out for our Lubbock storm. This is for Paducah, Texas. If you're in this area, make sure you're moving indoors and away from windows immediately. Damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour. Going to be a possibility with that there. How many essays should I be expected to write in high school each month? Well, that varies heavily from school to school, and especially in different states. But essays, writing essays, probably one a month. But it's the difference isn't the quantity, it's the quality of the essays that they expect from 8th grade to high school. By 9th grade, you're expected to write essays the same quality that you would find in like an article. So again, they did just actually the tornado warning, the storm that we just mentioned there near Willow Valley, Indiana. This is a brand new tornado warning that's going to come in just a second. There we go. So this is for the south side of Bedford, Indiana, as well as for Mitchell and Huron. So if you're in this area, make sure you are seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. The interesting thing about this one is that it's going to be lacking more shear than anything else. Again, instability values still aren't super impressive, but about 1,500 joules per kilogram right now. But our shear values, not incredible. They just updated the tornado warning for the western storm in Indiana as well. Still radar indicated. Again, kind of surprised they didn't just cancel it there. It does look like our supercell approaching Luca and Flora, Illinois is trying to start rotating. So we'll watch that relatively closely. New severe thunderstorm warning going out for Wentzville, Missouri, and O'Fallon for damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour and hail up to quarter size. I do as well, actually, Arks. It is a nightmare. Take a test. 8 a.m. in the morning, we take a test. And I'm like, this is horrible. And at least here, 4 years of English is required throughout high school, which is just awful. I would never drop out. High school is very important, but if there was something that was going to make me drop out, it would either be horrible teachers or that. Not doing 4 years of English and enjoying a single bit of it. I've heard people complain about science tests, but obviously science tests are a little easier for people like us. But yeah. For anybody wondering, we are going to be watching out for another threat of severe weather tomorrow. It's actually going to be quite a potent wind threat. We have a slight risk of severe weather that goes all the way from Canada back down through Texas, and a marginal risk of severe weather that goes all the way from parts of Canada back through Mexico. Again, mainly going to be watching out for some damaging wind gusts, but some isolated QLCS tornadoes can't be ruled out pretty much across the entirety of this risk area, although the only 2% area that they've highlighted goes from sections of Mississippi back through to Indiana. So we'll watch out tomorrow. And then even going into Friday, still a marginal risk of severe weather that are going all the way from the Canada back down through to the Mexico border. Again, that Friday risk over 50 million people. And tomorrow's risk actually even more, over 73 million people. It is Wednesday, right? Yeah, okay. Getting tripped up there. That's what I'm saying, William, except for maybe, these Illinois cells develop a little more impressively whenever those instability values peak, which may be a little later than 30 minutes. We do actually have some sort of microburst activity occurring here over Lake St. Louis and O'Fallon in Missouri. Increased velocities there just west of O'Fallon over Darden Prairie. This is an incredibly populated area. So again, some significant damaging wind gusts likely occurring there with this pretty much due north moving storm. Alright, see you, William. Thank you for tuning in. Holy voice crack. Okay, bud. When's the next chill stream? Never. No, that's a joke. Whenever everything calms down, so not for a while. I still think we're entering a relatively active pattern for severe weather over the next couple of weeks. And, even all the way through, late May, the models have been hinting at a pretty favorable pattern for a late-season severe weather threat. But, obviously, things can change. Tomorrow is the first day of May. Guys, how are we already pretty much all the way through tornado season? There's going to be severe weather here in Cumberland County, Illinois. So the interesting thing about that question there is going to be we are watching for the supercell right now that is tornado warned kind of heading in our direction. Now, again, it's probably going to miss us just off to the west, but there is going to be a band of thunderstorms from the south approaching later this evening. Probably around 9 to 10 p.m. we can expect some heavy rain, maybe some lightning, but probably nothing too intense there. Again, any sort of tornado threat is likely going to be confined off to the southwest of us, but some damaging winds still going to be a possibility. But thank you for tuning in, Roger. Alrighty. I've got 13 days left, chat. School year starts early, ends early here. I know for Vincent, they don't go back to school after summer until, late September. And then they get back in, or they get out in, late June, or late May, maybe mid-June. Kind of right in the middle there. It sounds lucky, but you have to remember we went back to school in the first week of August, I'm pretty sure. So, it's kind of rough, to be honest. That's kind of similar to what mine is, Mr. Twister, yeah. We used up our snow days this year for Blair. Got out of school for 2 days. Usually any more than 3 inches of snow is enough to get us canceled here. We have never once canceled for a severe weather threat. Yeah, Storm Chaser 57... Oh, that was a bad voice crack. Storm Chaser 575, so yours is more like Vincent's then. Well, and again, I still make the case that the why am I blanking? Again, nobody remembers these town names. The Bingham tornado was likely 200 plus. There were just not any contextuals out there whatsoever to support it, which is a very good thing. If a tornado like that hit, like, say, Hyannis, Nebraska, we would have, seen extreme damage. I mean, like, EF4, EF5 intensity. Again, I mean, it's an El Reno-like situation where it's just not, there's nothing out there. You know, obviously, if El Reno 2013 hit like Oklahoma City downtown, or even just El Reno in general, probably would have been rated EF5. But you need like an inch. Yeah, a little bit different standards down there in like Georgia. I know up in, like, upstate New York, you need, like, 3 feet to get it canceled. I don't know if that's true or not, but I read that somewhere. That's insane, if that's true. I mean, I'd believe it, because, I mean, those lake effect snow events, it's not uncommon for them to bring 3 feet plus of snow for localized areas, at least. But, yeah. I think the national average was like 3 to 6 inches. New severe thunderstorm warning going out for Pleasanton, Texas. For golf ball sized hail and damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour. If you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors and away from windows. It's crazy, Mr. Packer. Well, if you're talking about Winter Storm Enzo, yeah, I mean, that was a historic winter storm. I mean, that one will go down in the records books as the largest Gulf Coast blizzard of all time. And the only one. That was legitimately the first time that blizzard warnings were issued for the Gulf Coast. Through portions of Louisiana. I mean, this year was a historic winter. It got cut kind of short, but I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was far more impressive than 2023 through 2024's winter. That was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. This year was unbelievable. I think we had about a foot of snow during Blair. That's where we peaked, which is the most snow that we have seen in probably 5 years. Well, actually, in the Florida Panhandle, some areas got very close to a foot. It was like 11.4 inches is the official record. And then parts of Louisiana, southern Louisiana, got 13 inches of snow. It's like if a GFS fantasy run came true. I just realized Dahani's message is still pinned. I thought I unpinned that like a long time ago, but I didn't. So there we go. Tornado warning has finally been canceled for our Illinois storm, by the way. Still watching these supercells in Indiana, mainly the one approaching Mitchell. Days of the week rating win. I saw your question about that earlier. I mean, Friday is peak. This is going to sound so crazy. I don't necessarily think that Saturday is all that. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't hit like it used to, man. Sunday is just... I mean, I love Sunday because, you know, it's the day to praise the Lord. I mean, that's every day, but it's the day that people focus on it. But Sunday evening is just depressing because you realize you've got a full week of work ahead of you. By the way, our official May Madness Tornado Tournament starts tomorrow on the community tab. So if you want to participate in that, just make sure to vote. If you want to leave a comment down below supporting or, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Saying a tornado was weaker than it was. Make sure to leave a comment down below, but unfortunately, due to the rules of the challenge, I will not be able to reply to any of them. I can heart them, I can like them, but I cannot reply. Other people can reply, and I encourage that, but again, just make sure to keep everything respectful. Just because that would make it unfair for certain situations, because obviously there are some people that will just vote for whatever I vote for. That sounds extremely egotistical, but there are just people that would do that, unfortunately. We just got a new tornado warning for our QLCS in Arkansas. Wow. I do not have a HUZ, no. New tornado warning going out for the north side of Little Rock for Jacksonville and Cabot. Whoa! Oh, wow. We have very intense rotation ongoing along I-57, folks. If you are in this area, you need to seek shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building away from windows and in an interior room. That uptrended like crazy on the most recent velocity scan. So if you are in this area, again, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. Again, very intense area of rotation. Wow. I mean, that just went from 0 to 100 like that. Again, it looks like it's broadening out, but my goodness, dude. What in the world? You know what? That was on the ground, too. Let's see if we can confirm it, but we likely just had an intense tornado rip through Little Rock. Well, okay. We gotta really do a deep dive here. Yeah, it looks like we just had a huge tornado just hit the Little Rock Metro. Oh my goodness. It's so hard to confirm, though, for 100% certainty. Yeah, we just had a large tornado hit the Little Rock Metro, I believe. Again, if you're out here, just stay in your safe spot. Again, this is likely occluded, but this was just a huge tornado north of Little Rock, Arkansas. Wow. Again, that really came out of nowhere. Again, this is likely still debris fallout in the atmosphere over Rixey, so if you're in this area, you've got to remain in your safe spot. But my goodness, dude. Again, if you're just now tuning in, we likely just had a strong tornado hit the northeast side of Little Rock, Arkansas, near Sherwood. I don't even know how that happened. I mean, that just went and uptrended in one scan from impressive circulation to a very intense tornado. Wow. So again, likely a very strong tornado there if that was a debris signature. I'm pretty sure it was. National Weather Service didn't confirm it, but it's almost certain. So again, very intense tornado here. Just hits the north side of Little Rock, Arkansas. Alright, if there was any debris fallout, it's now likely mostly gone. But again, you need to remain in your safe spot if you're out here in Jacksonville or even as far as Beebe or Cabot. Wow. So again, if you're just now tuning in, likely a very intense tornado just ripped through Little Rock, Arkansas. We're going to wait and see if we can find any reports of damage. But wow. Again, extreme tornado likely just occurred near Little Rock. Okay. Again, it's not 100% confirmed, but man, if that was a tornado, that thing was intense. So again, if you're northeast of Little Rock, Arkansas, you need to make sure that you are remaining in your safe spot. Can't even believe it. It's not even observed, no. Again, I mean, it's not 100% certain that that was a debris signature. So they probably don't want to put out an observed tag on that, especially now that it's likely occluded. But man. Again, if you're just now tuning in, likely a strong tornado just occurred northeast of Little Rock, Arkansas. Unbelievable. So again, if you're in this area, make sure you are staying in your safe spot in Jacksonville or in Cabot, as a strong to intense tornado likely just occurred. Again, even if it didn't, I mean, that was a very impressive and tight area of rotation, even if that wasn't a debris signature. And again, looking higher up into the atmosphere, I mean, if we had the proper scans from the right time, this would have been unbelievable. I mean, it still is. All right, see you, Mr. Twister. Thank you for tuning in. But again, likely a strong tornado just occurred there northeast of Little Rock. And if it was, that was a very intense tornado. So, again, hopefully everybody out there is okay. Unfortunately, the warning came out late. But man. By the way, the supercell that we mentioned earlier near Salem is continuing to uptrend in terms of its rotation. I mean, it's such a populated area. Keep in mind that region legitimately just got hit by a high-end EF3 tornado 2 years ago. That exact area, North Little Rock. We do have a new tornado warning, by the way, now going out for parts of Missouri. This is for Varville. If you're in this area, make sure you are seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. But man, I mean, that was unbelievable. Again, we're going to see if we can find any photos of damage for y'all, but let's see here. Again, PA Storm Tracker is still out there near Lubbock, Texas. They're currently in Jayton. Alright, well, let me check and see if we've got anything in terms of damage photos. But wow. I feel like if that was a confirmed tornado, we'd have some photos of damage already, because that's such a populated area, but we don't have anything. I will say, even if that wasn't a tornado, we did just have some extreme wind gusts rip through. There are videos of high-end damaging winds. But we'll see. I mean, again, we would have to have some reports by now. I mean, that is such a populated area. There are legitimately hundreds of thousands of people out there in that exact area, pretty much. I'm almost starting to think that that wasn't a debris signature. If you can't tell, I'm very off and on about this. I wish we had a terminal radar out here. I guess terminal radars don't have CC products anyway, so I don't know why I'd want that, but looking from Memphis, yeah, we're not going to be able to see it whatsoever. Yeah. Your friend has GR2 and it was CC. You know, I have a GR2 key and I didn't even use it. But either way, again, lately a very intense tornado there just ripped through Sherwood, Arkansas, unfortunately. Let's see if we can find any images of damage if I look up Sherwood. I look up Sherwood and I see tornado emergency because that's from last year. And then I go further and there's a tornado emergency from Sherwood, Michigan, which was Union City. Again, I'm trying to find something, literally anything for you guys here, but I don't see anything. I mean, I feel like we would have something by now. But I am indeed, Vincent. So we're locking in on potential chase tonight. I don't know your real name now. You seem like a Jared. Or a Jackson. I don't know. Reed. I think I did know that. Yeah, but whenever we're so close to the radar here, I doubt... I guess the higher tilts do... You can still kind of see... I'm not... Oh, yeah. I mean... I guess that could be the CC drop there. Yeah. Let's check tilt 3 if it'll show anything. But again, this would be very high in the atmosphere. It is showing something. I mean, yep, and it has that on that previous scan. So that was a debris signature near Lakewood and Silver Creek. Guess your real name, Dahani? So tornado warning continues for Cabot. Just got an update here. Still radar indicated. But we'll continue to watch this. Bartholomew. Again, we're awaiting reports from the Sherwood area. If you're just not tuning in, we likely just had an intense tornado rip through Sherwood, Arkansas. And we don't have any reports of damage or anything, though, yet. Related to a tornado. Again, I'm trying to find literally anything for you guys here. Let's see. Do we have any... this was even closer to Lakewood. Lakewood, Arkansas traffic cam. Amazing thing, because we didn't get literally any reports that that was not a tornado. It had to have been, though. I mean, we have it confirmed from multiple tilts. We have it confirmed from GR2. I mean, that had to have been something. Had to have been. So the exact positioning is not a word, Davis. The exact positioning of that tornado would have been over I-57 in Lakewood. Or I-55. No, that is I-57. Can't find anything from that particular area. Well, we'll wait and see. Again, the fact that we don't have any photos or anything. Whoa, how did I miss that? Nick with the $5 donation. How is Western Pennsylvania looking tonight? First off, thank you so much for your $5 dono. That is incredible. Western Pennsylvania, we're going to be watching for a damaging wind threat tomorrow, mainly in the afternoon time hours. Today, Western Pennsylvania is A-OK. Again, taking a look at the HRRR model here, we'll go back to the 18Z run so that we can get the highest most long-range forecast for you. We can see that we're expecting this line of storms to make its way through western Pennsylvania tomorrow at about 5, 6, 7 p.m. Maybe some damaging winds, some hail, no sort of tornado threat or anything like that. But tonight it is A-OK for western PA. But thank you so much, Nick, for the $5 donation. W Nick's in the chat if you've not already. Again, that is incredibly generous there. And that, my good friend, has put you on the donut board. So again, thank you so much. That helps me know that this is going to be a career option for me in the future. And we also give back to a lot of these communities that get hit. So again, last month we donated over $700 to a 401k nonprofit organization that helps clean up after severe thunderstorms and tornadoes. Yeah, awaiting damage photos. I mean, I'm not certain. Dude, thank you, Nick. That's incredible. This is amazing. Again, still got a couple broad areas of rotation through portions of south central Illinois. Neither of them tornado warned at the moment. Again, obviously the one over towards Sandoval is weakening, and that's a storm that was originally tornado warned. I would have loved to got some photos from that, but it looks like it's going to go legitimately just west of me. Northwest, that is. Well, actually, it could go just south of me. If I can't tell if it's going to go north or south of me, that means it's probably going to go over me. New Richmond is underrated, and Henryville for that matter. Henryville is one of the most incredible Indiana tornadoes in history. New severe thunderstorm warning going out for areas in Kentucky. This is for Cynthiana. Quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. If you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors immediately. We have spotters in this area and everything. And we don't have any reports of damage or photos or anything. So the chance that that was an ongoing tornado is not confirmed, but it can't be fully denied either. Or not an ongoing tornado, but it was an ongoing tornado. You know what I mean. Again, we're trying to figure this out here, guys. So somebody reported that a funnel cloud in Sherwood, quote, went through their backyard. So good chance that we did have a confirmed tornado there. Okay. Oh, whoa. So this was... okay, so there are some photos of a shelf cloud in Sherwood. Again, we're not sure, no pun intended, on if that was a confirmed tornado or not. I have not seen any photos yet of anything, and that makes me think that this did not touch down. But it just seemed so likely. What's up, Sanjay? How's it going? Westmoreland was peak drill bit. Oh, yeah, Kevin. I mean, it was certainly there. Or talking about from the tornado we just had, or... Go ahead and show you. I assume you're referring to this. Whoops. There you go. Again, was a very intense area of circulation when this got a tornado warning, and what do you know? If we switch over to the correlation coefficient, what resembled a large CC drop visible from multiple tilts and on GR2, a correlation coefficient drop likely a debris signature. So that storm is no longer tornado warned, but The only tornado warning we have left in effect is the one for a Missouri storm, and at this point, that's not super impressive. Again, I don't think it touched down. That is my personal opinion. I genuinely don't. You know, they say the first day of April is April Fool's Day. It seems like we just got trolled. I think the last day was April was April Fool's Day here. The best April Fool's Day prank there was this year was from Sour Patch Kids, renaming. I don't know why we're talking about that. This stream has been so off topic. But, anyways, in all seriousness, very concerned to see what we get out of that area. Give me just a second. Okay. See, I would think that as well, but you also have to keep in mind that area has hundreds of thousands of people traveling through it as we speak, and there's no photos, no reports of damage, there's no indication that this was ever confirmed to be on the ground yet, and it has been 15 minutes since this happened. Actually, closer to 20 minutes. It looks like there were some power outages reported. But, again, that could just be associated with those damaging winds up to 70 that we're seeing. Very likely was, actually. Look at this Boeing segment near Cabot and Lone Oak. It's beautiful. Again, if you're in this area, make sure you are getting indoors and away from windows. Well, but you've got to remember, in this day and age where people have a camera on their phone and they can do anything they want right after it happens, there would be something on Twitter or anywhere on social media for that matter, and there's not. Again, this tornado was 22 minutes ago, and we have nothing. In an area that has hundreds of thousands of people living and traveling through it. Again, we don't even need, a spotter confirmed damage according to the National Weather Service. I just want a photo of something, and I don't think we have that. Been looking all over the place since this happened, and I don't see anything. Again, been looking all over Twitter. Okay, here's the first thing I've seen that possibly resembles tornado damage, but it's just tree branches downed. This is the first thing I've seen. Again, I've been scrolling for 20 minutes now. This is the only thing I've seen, and this absolutely could just be associated with straight line wind damage. So, very concerned, not concerned, but very confused on if anything really happened or not. Because to me, it doesn't look like it did. And that came in from a meteorologist as well, so. No, we did, Kevin, and it looked exactly like a tornado. Again, this isn't going to, this is going to make you think even more that this was on the ground, but it genuinely looks like that was just the most unbelievably prank tornado of all time. This is not lined up. Hold on. Let's restart that. Still isn't lined up. It's one scan off, but we can show you what we mean here. So here was your velocity couplet, or I guess you can't really see it. Again, here's your velocity couplet, and then your debris signature, this is what it looked like. I mean, that genuinely just looked like a prank. Again, keep in mind these scans are 5 minutes off. It looked exactly like we had something. And again, it's confirmed from multiple tilts on the correlation coefficient, but there's no damage photos whatsoever. Maybe they're doing search and rescue? I mean, they would see something along the way, and they would report it. You also have to keep in mind that this environment wasn't super favorable for something like that's happening. And again, the only thing that we've seen is one photo of a downed tree in a backyard. So, and we've seen a lot of photos and videos of shelf clouds, but no photos of tornado damage. We have traffic cams out there that we've looked at and everything, and there was not, I mean, looks like that was not on the ground, ever. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't think that was anything. But without a doubt, the most unbelievably convincing radar signature of a ongoing tornado there ever was, without it being one. Hold on, I'm trying to get a post about this out on Twitter. You can go follow me over on DavisDoesWX. That's my @. Can we finally have a handle that makes sense? So that's nice. All right. Give me just a second here. Alright, I went ahead and got myself out a post on that. Again, that was not a tornado. Oh, it does. Well, the next closest radar you can't see anything on, but we looked at higher tilts, and we still saw it. Again, I don't think that was a debris signature, though. I don't think that was a tornado. Even though it looked exactly like it. See, like, what in the world, though? Because, I mean, that's not debris. That's contamination. But there had to have been something in the sky there that was contaminating that. Because multiple radars show it. Or does this radar show it at 605 over that same area? No. Yeah. So, definitely not a tornado. But yeah. Again, definitely a big old prank tornado there. I mean, it looked exactly like it on the radar while it was happening. And again, either way, those velocities were incredibly impressive. But by the way, time for you guys' daily fun fact. Did you know that there was a severe thunderstorm emergency back in 2019? It is a real thing. No, I'm not pranking you like that tornado did. There is a real thing known as a severe thunderstorm emergency. It has been used one time. August 16th, 2019. This is a severe thunderstorm emergency for Scottsbluff and Gearing. I saw this like a year ago, and I thought it was like a replica, like it was meant to be like a fake one. No. Real photo. There's no context I can give that makes that any better. That was a joke. That's all I'm going to say. No, no, no. The severe thunderstorm emergency was real. Just no context. Other than it was a joke. That's all I can say that can make that any better. New severe thunderstorm warning going out for the northeast side of Little Rock. This is for Searcy and part of I-57. If you're in this area, make sure you're moving indoors. It's for damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. It has been downgraded from 70 to 60. Again, for anybody wondering that's just now tuning in, that was not a tornado that we had northeast of Little Rock. Radar signature suggested otherwise, but nope. 30 minutes, and we have no photos of damage, no reports of damage. We have no photos of the tornado, no evidence that it was on the ground, and that is in an area with hundreds of thousands of people. So if it was real, it would have been there. No, that was a real thing. Unless I'm getting pwned. I mean, I saw it like a year ago on an EAS mock, and I saw that. The thing I just showed, that was a screenshot from Radar Scope, and this is the radar scan associated with it. I mean, maybe I'm getting pwned here. Maybe this is fake. But the radar scan timing and the timing on the warning matches up. It looks real to me. Maybe I'm tripping, but also, this is really weird. Hold on. This was what I think is a real photo as well. This is unbelievable. I cannot believe... Again, this was like 10 years ago. But if they put this in a warning today, can you imagine? People and animals outdoors will be severely injured and may be killed. I don't know if that's a real photo or not. But if that is, that's insane. It's real. I remember it happened. It's real. I have a friend north of Little Rock that had to get to her storm shelter. They were 70-mile-an-hour winds at her house. It's passing down there safe. I'm very glad to hear that, Paige. Again, that was a scary situation, especially because we were very close to that touching down. But I'm glad she took the proper precautions. Let me know if she has any damage or anything like that from straight line winds, though, for sure. So we'll see. No longer a tornado warning with our Missouri storm either, so for the first time this stream, we are without any tornado warnings. I do, Drew. I do indeed. Alright, see you, Mr. Twister. Thank you for tuning in. But, again, the wording on the other warning, that was a complete separate warning that I showed. People outdoors and animals may be killed. Like, what? Radar scope glitches and turns into an emergency, but there was an EAS of it. I mean, maybe they did that as like a recreation of like just a joke, but I think it was a mock, so it could have been a mock of a real thing or a fake thing. Okay, so I just said we don't have any more tornado warnings. There we go. Brand new tornado warning going out for Vandalia, Illinois. If you're in this area, make sure you are seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. Pretty sure we said Vandalia like 2 hours ago would be in the track of this, and now we're here. So if you're in this area, make sure you are seeking shelter. What's going on, Lucy? Again, circulation starting to strengthen up there again, just west of Vernon, northwest of Patoka. Again, likely a strong area of circulation there. Again, we're quite far from radar. Again, this is a horrible radar roll. You're right in between Paducah, Kentucky, Evansville, Indiana, Lincoln, Illinois, and St. Louis, Missouri. There's really no good options. I mean, even here we're looking like 7,000 feet up into the atmosphere, but again, strong circulation there approaching Vandalia. So if you're in this area, make sure you are seeking shelter. Again, this is along I-70 in central Illinois. Give me just a second here. Alrighty. Let me go and update the stream title. Is Ryan still live? Is he? I genuinely don't know. Ryan has been cooking the past several days. He is. I'm talking about Ryan Hall, by the way, not Ryan Scholl. Ryan Scholl's been cooking as well, but again, Ryan has been, for the first time in years, he's gone out of, there has to be a 10 hatch to go live. Now he'll go live for 10s and even some 5s, and I think that is very appropriate. Because sometimes the SPC is never going to know exactly what happens. And because of that, there are going to be events that go big, even if it was just a 5%. So I'm very glad that he's now taking that step to not just stream for 10 hatched. I will say, though, I understand why he didn't do that for so long, because for the amount of time he streams for, that has to be the most energy-consuming thing you can do, even though it's just sitting at a computer. He was live for, he's probably going to be live for 10 hours today. He was live for 10 hours yesterday, 10 hours on Monday. He was live for 5 hours on Sunday, 4 hours on Saturday. He was live for 7.5. Like, I don't understand how he does it. Anyways, there's the good man himself, Levi WX, YoW thumbnail. I wonder who made it. Do you know who made that thumbnail? I don't remember. In all seriousness, though, again, huge thank you to Levi for making me this thumbnail. Again, for an event like 3 weeks ago, but it was like, it kind of works out well here. So. But welcome in, Levi. Anyways, again, not a tornado that occurred with our Little Rock storm there, even though it looked very convincing. It absolutely did not occur. Otherwise, we would know by now. But again, I mean, that was like the end of April Fool's prank of the century. Again, apparently the last day of April is April Fool's Day now. But Davis reused the March 14th thumbnail so much. I did. I'm not even going to lie. Just because it covers such a large area. And I'm too lazy. I'm not good enough to make thumbnails like that. Okay, I just said I'm too lazy, and then I said I'm not good enough, so I should probably clear up. I am partially too lazy and partially not good enough to make thumbnails to that degree for every live stream. And also sometimes I just run out of time. Because on many days, we don't know when we're going to go live. So again, both of the Levi's have made me several thumbnails, and I cannot thank them enough for that, because they are much higher quality than any thumbnail I've ever made. Broad circulation ongoing southeast of Bedford, Indiana. If you're in this area, make sure you are prepared to seek shelter. This storm was previously tornado warned. Again, not a whole lot of instability out here, but enough. Certainly. Looking higher up into the atmosphere, can't see a huge difference, but again, radar's very far away. Again, we still do have that little donut hole there on reflectivity, just southwest of Vandalia. Again, your area of circulation is likely going to go just east of Vandalia, Illinois. Again, this is going to be approaching Avena and Altamont over the next 45 minutes or so. Again, these western Illinois storms here, a little bit further north, so your instability values on those are going to be a little bit less. Just let me click on the radar, okay. But still developing some broad circulation there, most likely with a couple of them. But again, just horrible radar coverage out here. I mean, if they were going to put a radar in there, the spot to do it would legitimately be Vandalia. Right in the middle of the worst one. Bro, what? Okay. But, again, tornado watch remains in effect for the next 3.5 hours here for portions of east central Missouri, central Illinois, and west central Indiana. Again, at this point, damaging wind threat remains with our Arkansas QLCS, several Boeing segments, likely some enhanced damaging winds embedded in those, but outside of that, not a whole lot going on this far south. We need National Weather Service office. You do, yeah. Paris, Texas would be one that is needed much more desperately than Vandalia, Illinois. I'll tell you what, though. Southern Missouri needs one worse than either of them. It is so bad, and northern Missouri, for that matter. Missouri just needs more radar sites. I mean, they have 3 radar sites, but they are all at, like, the edge of the state. So anytime you have something in northern, central, or southern Missouri, you have no radar coverage of it. It's awful. I mean, out of every state that we have covered on this channel, Missouri is by far easily in the top 5, and they have the worst radar coverage out of almost any state. I'll get to that question in a second, Lucy. We do have some broad circulation here still continuing southeast of Bedford, Indiana. Again, I would be hard-pressed to believe that they're not going to issue a tornado warning here within the next few minutes. So if you are out here in Medora or Brownstown, be prepared to seek shelter. Thoughts about the lines trying to form Missouri. If you're talking about the general supercells that are kind of merging out here, and talking about this down here in southern, yeah, I mean this is just going to be probably eventually connected to our QLCS to parts of Arkansas here. So some damaging winds, some heavy rain, maybe a little bit of lightning. But, again, the environment's not very conducive for a tornado threat this far west. Let's actually look here. What do our shear values look like? So in the first kilometer of the atmosphere, you've got, 20 to 25 knots of shear. So pretty impressive. But first 6 kilometers of the atmosphere, okay, yeah, you're dealing with 30 to 40, which isn't exactly ideal. And then your instability values also could be higher, but they're still pretty impressive out there. You're rocking with 2,000 to 2,500 joules per kilogram of surface cape, so more than enough. Better get some lighting out of that. Let's hope. I saw you got a pretty crazy thunderstorm the other day, though. So again, looking from the Evansville radar, very strong area of circulation northeast of Mitchell, Indiana. And even looking from the Indianapolis radar, still pretty intense there, so we'll see if this goes tornado warned. A Poplar Bluff radar would be fire. It really would. The only thing about that is that this area is kind of covered by the Paducah radar. Not necessarily entirely, though. And our tornado warned storm in Fayette County is continuing to rotate there as this approaches Vandalia. A pretty healthy little supercell. So we'll see what that does. Again, that's going to be approaching portions of Fayette and Effingham counties over the next 10 to 20 minutes. I think I knew about that, Kevin, yeah. It's hilarious to see goofy mistakes like that, but awful at the same time. Look at this little smiley face. Looks like a little worm. A lot of people were saying the NATO cast out looks like a dinosaur, and I can't disagree. The comparison is there. So again, that area of circulation just west of Vernon now. The Indiana storm is in the middle of the Louisville, Evansville, and the Indianapolis radar as well. Yeah. Embarrassing. That's the best way to say it. And there have been a lot of false emergency alerts put out, even not related to weather disasters. I mean, I don't know if you guys knew about this, but in 2018, a wireless emergency alert was sent off to every phone and TV in Hawaii that there was a ballistic missile incoming. And it was a false alarm. And it's not like there was expected to be one. It was genuinely just an accident. Somebody said they, quote, pushed the wrong button, but I find it hard to believe that it would be that easy to mess up like that. Anyway. Well, in California, it does always bring us at least our, yearly EF2. So, I will tell you, the least tornadically dense state outside of Hawaii and Alaska, in the lower 48, usually ends up being Nevada. I'm sorry, Jesse, if you're watching. So, rotation getting more intense there as this approaches Vandalia and Wilburton. So, if you're in this area, make sure you are staying in your safe spot. Again, if this keeps heading in the general track that it's been moving towards, this is going to be approaching areas in between Effingham and Newton within the next hour or so. Now, this is not a super populated area, but there are definitely some smaller communities out here. Effingham's got about 15,000 people. Vandalia about 10,000, so. Again, looking at our gate-to-gate shear, even though it's very high up in the atmosphere because we're far away from radar, it's, 80 miles an hour or so. Storm kind of shifting east, yeah. New severe thunderstorm warning, that's going to be going out for sections of Indiana. It's an extension for our Supercell there near Brownstown. I'm kind of surprised they didn't issue a tornado warning for this. But if you're in Medora or Brownstown, Indiana, make sure you are getting indoors and away from windows immediately. This is for quarter-sized hail and damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. It also does have the tornado possible tag on it. Really? Another severe thunderstorm emergency. What typo? Okay. That is just great. Sam. That is going in the screenshot books. Thank you for that. That is incredible. That is the best thing I've ever seen. My friend north of Little Rock has some small trees and shingles. Tons of limbs everywhere, and some flooding. They're okay and thankful. I mean, that certainly could have gone much worse. Again, we were very close to seeing a tornado touch down in that area. Again, CC almost definitely verified it, but nothing occurred. And again, we can say that with confidence. And again, it's not like it was your typical contamination. It looked exactly like a debris signature. It tracked with it for multiple scans. Alright, that was just on purpose, bro. Keep talking, Bubba. I will keep talking. So again, that's a strong area of circulation continuing to approach Wilburton. Let's see here. Give me just a sec. Yeah, I would not be shocked if this tried to produce something within the next 5 to 10 minutes. This is the most impressive this Supercell circulation has been in its entire track, which has been like 4 hours. So, because I mean, this thing was well developed and broadly rotating before we started stream. No, I know Sam's was a typo, but Kevin was just trolling. But, again, likely a developing tornado just south of Vandalia. Again, along Highway 51 there. Pretty tight and strong area of circulation at this point. Near, Chabonier. Chabonier? Chobonier? I don't know. I really should, but I don't. Hunter Hurley has an incredible view. Unfortunately, we don't have his permission to bring him up on stream, but I will check here. Oh, I guess he's not live on YouTube, is he? I'm assuming you're not talking about the Vandalia storm here. Because I don't think he's in the Midwest today. Let's Let's see. He is? Okay. He is live on YouTube, or he is on the Vandalia Storm? So I don't think he's live on YouTube. Oh, he's on Ryan's stream. Okay. Hey, look at that. Jacob Dickey. I love Jacob. Oh, shoot. Levi just had a fire allegation. Anyway, new severe thunderstorm warning just issued. That's going to be going out for sections of Texas here. That is for Palestine. If you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors and away from windows. That's for some ping pong ball sized hail. Approaching Buffalo. Pretty impressive hail core along I-45. Check Twitter. All right. Hunter. I still can't believe Hunter follows me. Wow. Yeah, you can see that structure, and then you can see the wall cloud underneath. Yeah, that is beautiful. And he actually is on the Illinois storm. Holy cow. That was from like an hour ago, though, so good chance it's not nearly that photogenic now. Actually, maybe even better, because the sun's starting to set. Kind of. Yeah, I mean, this is very close to doing something. Again, no ongoing tornado at this time that we can confirm, but even if one does touch down, we're likely not going to have a view of it on the CC, just because we're so far away from radar. I mean, we're looking like 8,000 feet up in the atmosphere here. Again, Vandalia is like right in the center of this horrible radar hole. So, not a lot we can do here. But yeah, Jacob Dickey, associated with WCIA3 News, big old local news station out here, he is on this thing, and so is Storm Chaser Hunter Hurley, if he's still chasing this. Again, it dropped its tour warning for a while when circulation was still broad, so there's a good chance that he decided to ditch it and go for some of the Missouri storms, but I'm not too certain. Let me actually look. I can check. No, he is still on this thing. He's in Marion County. It's pretty beautiful. I love how the only tornado warning in the country is 40 miles away from me. And heading my way. Is that the subfrontal vortex? It is indeed. Inside joke. Nobody else is going to find it funny, but it is the subfrontal vortex. Yeah, from the St. Louis radar there, again, it's partially cut out, but you can see we've got some pretty strong circulation just south of Vandalia. Right along Highway 51, so if you're traveling along I-70, make sure that you are getting off and finding a substantial shelter to take place in between Brownstown and Mulberry Grove. That's going to be necessary. And especially areas nearing Effingham. I know that we've got a lot of people traveling through here. Again, it's rush hour, it's busy. Alright. I turn my Do Not Disturb off for 1 second, and I get blown up. He did it intentionally, too. He knows I'm live. Yeah, Effingham's got about 15,000 people. Alright, so rotation's still quite strong there southeast of Vandalia. Again, this is going to be approaching Altamont over the next hour or so. It's quite slow moving, I will say. Moving off to the northeast at about 25 miles an hour. But doesn't mean it's any less impressive. Again, it still has that incredible structure associated with it as well. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning going out for parts of Texas for Gulf Bowl-sized hail and damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour for Campbellton. BA Storm Trackers is right now in Old Glory, Texas. Let's actually check out where that is. I'm assuming it's in the Panhandle. No. Okay. right by the Panhandle. So they are on this severe thunderstorm over the Aspermont area. Bryce Shelton's out there as well. There's Josh Brinker. There's his spotter dot. Thoughts on Saturday for your area? Well, it's obviously a little early to say, but from what I've seen on the moderately ranged models, not really long range, not really short range at that point, but from what I've seen on the moderately ranged models, looks to be mainly a wind threat. But again, that is going to change a lot. And I haven't obviously taken any soundings or anything like that from that area, so I genuinely, honestly, I'm not the best person to ask for that right now. Davis? Sam? Again, if we do have an ongoing tornado, it's going to be approaching Wilburton, but it doesn't look like that's the case. It would be rain-wrapped, most likely, if it was on the ground, so it's not impossible. Hunter has a beautiful view of this. So does Storm Chaser Richard Sample. Again, I mean, this is just an incredible view of the structure of this thing. I could legitimately go out there, chase that right now, and get that structure. Do I want to do that? You got some news to tell me. This doesn't sound good. Please let me know. Just get it over with. There's going to be something embarrassing that I've done. Oh, gosh. Am I about to be exposed? I don't know why I genuinely got so stressed there. PDS tonight? Absolutely not. How do you chase when you can't drive? I can't drive. I have a permit. Yeah, you should, actually. Welcome back, Mr. Twitter. Ugh. I might chase this thing later whenever it's a little closer to me. It looks like it's still developing further, so... You do not drive, bro? I do, though. I legitimately do. I could go grab my permit right now. Yes, legally. I'm 15 years old. Hold up, BRB. I'm kind of an idiot. I was looking for it in my wallet, and then I realized I keep it in my phone. There you go. It's in that little slip there. I'm not going to bring it out because I don't remember if it has any personal info on it or not. But it is indeed there. And I can indeed drive. That is legitimately his main account. He's changed it before. I think Mr. Storm literally meant to say Twister there as well. That's the funny thing. Dude, I need this Supercell. I need it. Just start moving faster. My anxiety is already up here, wondering whether or not it's going to be able to maintain itself or not. So just go. Please. Yeah, there's a few fake U's. I've tried adding you before, like last night, and there's like 3 different U's. So. Not U's like sheep, but like you. That was not funny again, Davis. Just shut up. No, like atting you. Yeah, it seems like Sam's got something pretty serious to say, or he's just trying to troll me. He's like, oh, Davis, I got something serious to say, and then he leaves. Still some broad circulation over Augustburg. Rob managed to break up with another girl. Just send it to me, dog. Send it to me on, like, Discord. Talking to Sam, not Redbird. I don't really need a new graphic. Alright, Vincent, you're not funny. Kevin, you have no huzz. Alright, you know what? I take that back. I don't want to go this direction. I'm very sorry. I want this stream to remain sensible. No, it's fine, Vincent. I was just trolling. If that's something serious, though, you're going to feel bad. Dude, it's legitimately going to go over me, but just go. Because I know it's going to die out. I know it is. It's happened so many times lately. And cape values are going to continue to drop, so it would make sense if it died, too. I can't even get mad if it dies. Just go. Move northeast. Do it. Please. I need you to. New severe thunderstorm warning. It's an extension for our Supercell in northern Kentucky for golf ball-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds over Owenston. Yeah, I don't even know if I want to read it if it's written by ChatGPT, I'm not gonna lie, unless it's something actually very serious. Yeah, Vincent, for some reason, is, like, dying to see your old profile picture. So... So you can ask him about that. But fun fact, Vandalia used to be the state capital of Illinois. And a lot of maps today still like a little star over Vandalia. Like online images of the state, there will be a little star over Vandalia because it used to be the capital. You guys know what the capital is now? Does anybody in chat know what the capital of Illinois is? Des Moines. That's crazy. He didn't even say Des Moines. He said Des Moines. Des Moons. Grant, you literally know. St. Louis. St. Louis is not in Illinois. St. Louis. Peoria. I'll let you guys know right now. Dahani got it. That was a horrible start, but good job, Dahani. And, you know, I'm not even going to say Storm Chaser 575 because you guessed St. Louis and Des Moines. No, I'm kidding. Good job as well. Prize. What should the prize be, chat? Oh, speaking of prizes, tomorrow I can give some memberships. So make sure to tune into tomorrow's stream if you are wanting to become a member. But you do need to make sure that you do have membership gifting enabled on your account. Ugh, that was disgusting. I'm so sorry. Prize is 1 hour timeout. That is incredible. I don't know why I can do that with my nose. A lot of people are trying to tell me that Arkansas tornado touchdown, it did not. So please stop saying that. There is no confirmation. There's thunderstorm wind damage. There's not tornado damage. If that was a tornado, it would have been much more extreme than tree damage. So. Again, it's nasty tree damage, but oh my gosh. OG Kevin. Goofy, big Shrek ears. So, strong circulation continuing northwest of Augsburg. I need this Supercell to keep going if I want to see this tonight. Suppose I could travel a little ways, but I don't really want to go to Vandalia. And Instability is moving southwest. Why? Why? Why would you do that? I genuinely don't understand why it would do that. I mean, I do understand why, but I don't like it. And if I don't like it, then I don't understand it. I genuinely couldn't tell you why we've been live for 3 hours, or how we've been live for 3 hours. It really feels like we just started. I wouldn't be alone. I can't drive alone. I just realized the sun is setting. Like, I realized that earlier, but it's just now starting to set in. Get it? Set in? No, okay, I'll shut up. But it's starting to set in how crazy that is. PA Storm Truckers. PA Storm Tracker still has some nice structure in the distance. Tried to combine the word trackers and structure, and it came out truckers. They're on the severe thunderstorm warning storm near Haskell. You guys remember the Haskell, Texas tornado? Very photogenic. That was one of the first tornadoes we ever covered on this channel. That was the first day we went live that wasn't for an enhanced risk or higher. Or a winter storm. No, not usually, Dahani. It's not usually whatever, but sometimes it's worth a shot. Alright, so again, this area's circulation is going to be approaching Altamont. I'm in Effingham over the next 20 to 30 minutes. Again, likely going to see them extend this tornado warning very shortly. Again, this thing has been radar indicated the entire time. This has been going for 4 hours. It has never once produced. Even though it's been beautiful, it's had crazy circulation, we've had some wild structure. Never once did it ever produce. Not a single time. Again, at this point, Vandalia is no longer technically included in this tornado warning here. Vandalia is fine. We're mainly concerned about areas like Wilburton and Confidence. Give me just a second here. Alright. Yeah, I don't even know what's happening in chat anymore, but something's happening, so that's cool, I guess. Look, it's Drake. Yeah, this Supercell's already starting to lose some of its reflectivity presentation, I can tell. Which is quite unfortunate. But I think in an hour, this will be dead. Dead Supercell theory. Okay, that joke was probably the only funny one I've made so far. Then again, only I laughed at it. So. Northwestern Kansas, southwest Nebraska, bringing us a pretty impressive little QLCS type event here. Severe thunderstorm warning going out for Brewster. Actually, it does look like we have some circulation ongoing north of town. Actually, pretty intense there for a little scan. Again, that's well north of Brewster, Kansas, along I-70. Love how the two areas of circulation we're watching right now across the entire country are both in I-70 and in different parts of the United States. Do I think the 10 hatch in Texas was needed? Based off of the environment that we had, I would have issued a 10 probably, but not a 10 hatched. Then again, I was literally advocating for a 10 hatch last night, so I should just be quiet. So I guess the correct answer, the honest answer would be yes, but do I think we should have gotten one in retrospect? No, but it's easy to say after the event's already happened. Not as bad as NATOcast, though. That's for sure. Like, people like to say NATOcast is taking over. I agree, it has some good... I don't agree that it's taking over. Don't clip that, WX Clips. I agree that it has some good takes, but... is it going to replace the SBC within the next 10, 20, 30 years? No. Or ever? No. AI's capabilities are not there. Alrighty. Well, I'm glad it made somebody giggle. Again, at this point, they're probably not going to extend this tornado warning. I mean, it's not impossible, but just based off the environment that this is going into, I don't think this is probably going to survive with rotation much longer. Clipped? That was like 5 minutes ago. Sam never said the big news that he had to say, by the way. Look at that structure on PA Storm Trackers. Love how it just says Freddie McKinney. But in all seriousness, PA Storm Trackers, pretty beautiful view of that severe thunderstorm over Haskell. Jason is wild. SRM, probably, yeah, I don't even think they really chased today, did they? So that's the end of that story. Well, was Sam or Mr. Storm here first? I don't know. New severe thunderstorm warning just issued. That's going to be going out for sections of Indiana. That is for areas northeast of Washington for quarter-sized hail over Lagudi. Said it right this time? Dang, what is happening? Again, if you're just not tuning in, we have been live for over 3 hours now, covering a generational bust. First, Arklatex didn't perform, and then all the Midwest brings us is some Southern Illinois structure. Some good old SIS. New little abbreviation I just invented. It's awesome, right? Yep. Cool. New severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be going out for sections of Kansas here. This is for a little QLCS in the northwest corner of the state. For McDonald, that's some quarter-sized hail and damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour moving along Highway 36 near Atwood. If you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors. Still some very broad rotation south of Brownstown. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they reissued a severe warning here with the tornado possible tag on it, but even then, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. The hail core's gotten less impressive. The damage and wind threat isn't quite there anymore. A little cell merger popped up here, so we'll see if that saves it, but this Supercell is dying fast. What's up, Hurricane Theta? I do remember that, Howard. Can you check what to expect in Scottsburg, Indiana? Indubitably. That's not what that means, but... Scottsburg, Indiana, you are actually just south of some of these supercells that are severe thunderstorm warned right now. It looks like these are going to travel just off to your north, but I wouldn't be shocked to see some more rain showers come from the south here your ways, but overall, nothing too serious. I will say tomorrow you actually could have somewhat of a significant severe weather threat. Tomorrow you're in that 2 out of 5 slight risk of severe weather. Okay, they actually did extend the tornado warning there for eastern portions of Fayette County. So this is going out for St. Elmo and Brownstown, Illinois. If you're in this area, seek shelter immediately in the lowest floor of a sturdy building away from windows and in an interior room. That broad rotation over Wilburton right now. Again, we'll see if the National Weather Service extends this warning. The reason this is not shaped further off to the east is because these are two different National Weather Service offices. The one we just got was from National Weather Service St. Louis. The Effingham County Warning Office is National Weather Service Lincoln, which has always been weird to me. But... But again, Vina, St. Elmo, and Brownstown, as well as St. James. You guys are included in that brand new tornado warning. Again, that's for northeastern Fayette County in central Illinois. So make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows, and in an interior room. Again, eventually this is going to be making its way towards Altamont and Watson. By then, it's likely not going to have hardly any rotation associated with it at all. I will say our storm south of Hillsborough is trying to rotate a little bit near Taylor Springs. Yeah, like up the stream. Let's see if we can hit 75 likes. We are 8 away. Again, thank you guys for all the support this stream. We are only 14 subs away from 4,200. You know what? We'll go ahead and pull up a sub count here. Oh my goodness, look at that structure. Wow. I didn't even realize I had this as a scene. Why have I not been using this? Yeah, forget about this one. Here we go. We have a sub count here too. I mean, this is perfect for what we need right now. Okay. So, new severe thunderstorm warning just issued. That's going to be going out for portions of Texas. That is an extension for our storm south of San Antonio for half-dollar-sized hail and damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. If you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors and away from windows. Can we get back on topic here, chat? Love how this manages to happen every single time. Kevin's next message is going to be something about how he can't get banned. This has gotten far too predictable. And they did, actually. So the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for west central Effingham County in south central Illinois. This is for Altamont as well as Watson. If you're in this area, make sure you are seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows, and in an interior room. Alrighty. So again, that does not include downtown Effingham, but it is just southwest there. Again, that includes Watson and Altamont, portions of I-57 and I-70 as well. Alrighty. Give me just a second here. All right. So again, the rotation associated with this supercell is now going to be located south of St. Elmo, just near Brownstown at the moment. Again, looking higher up into the atmosphere there, we can see that it is quite strong. So if you're on this area, you do need to remain in your safe spot. Again, both the National Weather Service in St. Louis and the National Weather Service in Lincoln believe that this is a severe thunderstorm that is going to have the capability to produce a tornado within the next 20 minutes or so. So, again, if you're in this area, you need to be on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. Again, your rotation is now going to be just northwest of St. James. If you're in between warnings, are you safe? Still be in your safe spot. But yeah, they didn't quite... It's funny, because neither of them quite issued it up to the county line. It's also funny how I voice crack every 5 seconds. But there are legitimately people in between these tornado warnings. It's like a 1,000-yard gap in there. It's alright. I imagine the wireless emergency alerts are still going to go out for all those folks in there. Obviously not really any sirens out here because there's no population centers, but... Yeah, PA Storm Trackers have a beautiful structure for the past, hour now. Let's actually see here how long this has been this beautiful. Oh my goodness. I mean, this has just been a structure fest all day out here in Texas, really. And again, those are the events that we like the most, obviously, because they usually don't hurt anybody. And they are beautiful. So, again, continuing to watch this, alright, Kevin. I know that's sarcastic. Continuing to watch this area of rotation just west of St. James. Again, this is going to be approaching Altamont and Gilmore over the next several minutes. So if you're in this area, seek shelter now. Again, riding I-70 pretty much at this point. So, again, with that, we can infer that areas in northern Effingham County, if this area of rotation continues, which there's a good chance it doesn't, you guys are going to be in the track. How's bro still alive? This is how you get rid. This is the opposite of that. I'm being legit. Broke out of character for that. All right. New severe thunderstorm warning going out for sections of southeastern Indiana. That's for Madison. If you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors immediately. That's for some quarter-sized hail and damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. Again, still, I don't know what that was. Still quite a bit of lightning associated with this here, so... Again, we've got a dozen spotters on this thing, so if this does produce, we will know. In my opinion, it's not very likely. But anyways, again, this supercell moving over Hillsboro, it is not going to have any sort of tornado threat associated with it. It's a little too far north. It's not going to be able to take advantage of any instability. But some hail, some wind, certainly can't be ruled out there. I will say we do have some areas that have accumulated quite a bit of rain from multiple supercells through parts of southwestern Illinois. Got almost 4 inches of rain over Lively Grove. Never, Kevin. No, I'm kidding. I mean, probably never, but I mean, that just never really panned out. Those videos really performed quite awfully. And they weren't good videos, in my opinion, anyway. And it's not an original idea whatsoever, so I kind of just said, you know what, scrap them. Rotation continuing to tighten up there, south of St. Elmo, approaching Altamont. So we'll watch. Again, this is going to be moving through the Southmore Heights subdivision over Farina Road. Again, riding I-70. And it's probably going to continue to do that all the way till it gets to Effingham. So, if you are in Effingham, do be prepared to seek shelter. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, Mr. Twister. But again, at this point, area of rotation still somewhat broad. It's not necessarily that it's broad, it's just very weak. Love how the spotter is just in the middle of it. Reacting to my worst videos. Again, though, like, for the main channel now, I try to make things a little bit more high quality than just like a 30-minute random video to an old, reaction video to an old video. Oh yeah, definitely a rotation, no doubt about it. And it has been for several hours, so we'll see if it continues. There's quite a bit of shear out here, so that'll help this. Exactly. Make it to Davis, that's all I'm saying. Again, this is probably going to be like the last hour that this can sustain itself, though. Because instability values already dipping quite low, and I think that's what's been weakening this thing in the first place. At this point, the environment is not really that impressive. We've got like 1,000 surface cape. Actually, less than that at this point. And our shear is okay. First 6 kilometers of the atmosphere, we got 50 to 60 knots. So decently impressive, actually, but I just don't see this really going anywhere too much longer, in my opinion. We will get a new Storm Prediction Center update here pretty soon. I'd imagine that they're going to drop this 5% tornado risk, probably keep it at a 2% for something like this, mainly across parts of southeast Illinois. And the tornado threat in Arklatex will probably be dropped to 2% as well, if even kept at that. I'm pretty confident that we're not going to see anything in Dixie tonight in terms of a tornado threat, but you never can say that for certain with an event like this. We have a new severe thunderstorm watch going out for portions of the mid-Mississippi River Valley. This goes all the way from Greenville, Mississippi, back up to Cape Girardeau, Missouri. So parts of eastern Arkansas, southeast Missouri, northwest Mississippi, and western Tennessee. Scattered damaging winds to 65 miles an hour possible. Lowest end severe thunderstorm watch of all time. My goodness. Alright, bro. What is going on? That is wild. So again, broad rotation continuing to south of St. Elmo there. It's going to be crossing I-70 very shortly. Mr. Twitter is a crazy name. Again, for the second time. Again, this is going to be moving up towards Effingham and surrounding areas over the next little while. We have a little intensifying supercell there north of St. Louis. Mainly just a little heavy rainmaker at the moment, but... New severe thunderstorm warning for parts of the Texas Panhandle for quarter-size hail. Oh, that was a bad voice crack. That is for Borger, Texas. Again, at this point, I'm not going to lie to you guys. We're probably not going to be here for another 30 minutes. This supercell is just not really that impressive anymore. I'm very surprised they even continued the tornado warning into Effingham County. I suppose there's still somewhat tight rotation there, south of St. Elmo, but we'll see. Again, still just riding I-70 and Highway 40 there. Maybe. I don't know if I'm going to or not, Mr. Twister. Or Mr. Twitter. New severe thunderstorm warning extension for the South Texas storm. This has actually just been upgraded to tennis bowl-sized hail. Big ol' hail core there. Also warned for 70-mile-an-hour damaging wind gusts, according to the National Weather Service in Corpus Christi. So, big ol' hail spike. If you're along I-37, in between Campbellton and Three Rivers. Make sure you are seeking shelter indoors and away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. All right, Jason. We are 5 likes away from 75 likes. If you are new here, make sure to like and subscribe. We do this every day for areas all across the country. Yeah, it's kind of wild to have a double considerable, almost a double destructive for a general thunderstorm risk. Again, I mean, the rotation is still clearly there, southeast of St. Elmo. That's all I'm going to say. I just don't see it doing anything. Still some broad rotation south of Hillsboro. Don't think that's going to last. I think that's going to die out even sooner. Less impressive and in a worse environment. I'm surprised that even managed to develop that far. At this point, Cape values over there are 400. But we'll see. I think this is just going to be a big lightning maker for the rest of its track here. A lot of heavy rain with it, I'll say that much. Be quite a bit of that action going on. New velocity scan will come out in just a sec. Again, splitting in between radar sites here, like all 4 of them. So, the Texas and Oklahoma risk is over. It's Jason with an eye. So again, rotation continuing to get stronger southeast of St. Elmo. I mean, it's been off and on. We do have a little donut hole there on the reflectivity. But again, tornado watch remains in effect here for the next 2.5 hours. Again, it is legitimately one supercell that's going to have any tornadic potential with it. But tornado watch remains in effect for portions of central Illinois, east central Missouri, and west central Indiana for the next 2.5 hours here. Danny Dingleton. That would be one heck of a name. New severe thunderstorm warning for our QLCS in Arkansas for damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour. If you're in McGehee or Arkansas City, as well as DeWitt or Clarendon, make sure you are getting indoors. And another new severe thunderstorm warning as well that's going to be going out for parts of Indiana here. For Seymour, quarter-size hail tag, tornado possible tag as well. We do still have some broad rotation near Brownstown. Our more impressive supercell when it comes to rotation, though, is going to be the one just northeast of Austin, west of Deputy. I do indeed know it, but I would never leak. Alright, so, again, still some relatively strong velocities there along I-70 in southwestern Effingham County. At this point, just across the Fayette-Effingham County line. So, your town name? I do. They did actually issue a mesoscale discussion on this tornado watch about 30 minutes ago. Let's go ahead and bring that up on your screen, actually. So that is going to be mesoscale discussion 627. Favorable tornado corridor in the near term. This is actually shocking. They said the potential for a briefly strong tornado exists. Damaging winds up to 70 miles an hour in golf ball-sized hail between now and 8 p.m. Central, so like another 30 minutes or so. Again, I'm a little late on that one, but still, that is pretty wild. I did not see that until just now. When I brought up Radar Omega on mobile. I turned off meso discussions on Radar Omega on the computer because it looks messy during streams, and it makes the lag worse. I am indeed Storm Chaser 575. Long Island is the town. You can't believe I've done streams longer than this, okay? People think I go live for 30 minutes every day. It's not. It used to be, but it's not. Again, relatively new velocity scans from both the Evansville and St. Louis radars still showing some tight rotation there south of I-70 near Altamont. So if you're in this area, make sure you're staying in your safe spot. They did just update that tornado warning. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over St. Elmo, 14 miles southwest of Effingham, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Again, this includes portions of I-70 and Highway 40. There is no way they issue another tornado warning for this, though. No actual way. I love how it doesn't even meet severe thunderstorm criteria, and yet it's rotating so strongly. What's up, Merc? So new reflectivity scan coming in there again. Still riding up I-70. Likely taking a northern shift. Wait for that new velocity scan. Again, likely going to be in the area where we can't see a whole lot on the radar, though. Obviously a horrible radar hole. And we've been here for 3.5 hours. It's wild. I was getting mad because people said that, but I genuinely can't believe it myself. I'll be real with you. Again, you can see the rotation is very broad. It's just strong, which is the only reason they're keeping this warning, is in case it tightens up. Yeah, this is approaching Altamont. Still a couple of broadly rotating storms in southeastern Indiana. Those aren't going to have the huge potential to do much, though. New severe thunderstorm warning just issued. That's going to be going out for sections of Texas. For Teague, ping pong ball size tail. I cannot tell you how many times we've said that name in streams before. But far too many. Just far too many. Dublin, Ireland. New severe thunderstorm warning going out for portions of Indiana. This is for Owensburg, quarter-sized hail. If you're in this area, make sure you're getting indoors. Dude, I don't understand how this is still surviving. There is still broad rotation approaching Altamont. That is unbelievable. I mean, I suppose we still have, like, 1,000 cape out here. And our shear is actually pretty decent. So, I mean, it doesn't make, no sense. It's just, how has this been going for 4.5 hours? That is insane. And it's still there. Like, actually, in about 30 minutes, this is going to undergo another merger. I like how we can call a merger, even though it's 30 minutes out. I just don't understand. I mean, this is like the longest tracking supercell with rotation that we've ever covered in an environment this poor. This is like a mid-environment at best for tornadic production. And we have seen rotation associated with this severe thunderstorm for 4 hours straight. Again, it's just crazy. It really is. Alrighty. So again, that area of circulation is going to be located just south of Altamont. Yeah, this crazy storm in Illinois. That is probably not going to make it another 30 minutes. But then again, I said that 30 minutes ago, and here we are. Again, that rotation is going to be going just through the south side of Altamont here over the next 10 to 15 minutes. New severe thunderstorm warning just issued. That's going to be going out for parts of Texas, for Karnes City, for lime-sized hail and damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour. If you're in this area, make sure you're moving indoors and away from windows. I will say this is an incredible supercell for being in a general thunderstorm risk. Close to nothing. It's because it's underwent like 3 mergers, but man, is that impressive. Bro, calling people nerds is crazy. I'm going to be honest, I thought that message said something else for a second, Mr. Twister, and I was about to freak out. New severe thunderstorm warning. Well, they broke me. Davis is broken. WX Clips. New severe thunderstorm warning going out for Lancaster, Indiana. Again, this one does have some broad rotation with it west of Deputy, so if you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors. Quarter-sized hail, damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour, both going to be a possibility with that. I'm almost just about ready to call it quits here, guys. I mean, this is done. It looks like it might actually finally be weakening as it approaches Effingham. I do want to see if they reissue this tornado warning or not. They may honestly issue a severe thunderstorm warning. The hail core is starting to get a little more impressive again. I'm surprised they haven't yet for the storm near Hillsborough. They just updated the tornado warning. No, they didn't. Why did the polygon glitch like that? You saw that. Broad rotation there, honestly, southwest away. I don't know what that was. Broad rotation. My voice didn't like crack. It like cut out. I was like, broad rotation. But it's going to be right over Highway 16 northeast of Hillsborough. Approaching areas near Witt and Nokomis. And eventually Pana. That rotation is tighter than our one over Altamont at this point. I mean, it's about just as strong as well. But again, I think it's safe to walk out of this one and call it a bust. A 10 hatch day with 0 tornadoes is crazy work. And again, and a secondary 5%. 10 hatch bust there. Everybody's like, okay, well, we can refocus on the Midwest later this evening. We can watch it, and it'll do something. Nope. Not at all. It has been a huge structure night, but, I mean, PA Storm Tracker's still out there in the Haskell area. I'm going to guess that's not their exact location anymore. I'm guessing that's just outdated. Otherwise, they've legitimately been sitting in the same spot for the past half hour. How long have we been live for? Let's see. I'm sure I'm going to be embarrassed whenever I see the exact time. Still some broad rotation approaching Cape Town. So make sure you are staying in your safe spot out here. We have been live for... Come on. Dude. Would you like to work, please? 3.5 hours. Not that bad. I cannot thank you guys enough. We've had 700 people tune in this stream. That is incredible. Especially considering everybody else is live today. Has Dylan ever been in this chat? No. The day Dylan comes in is the day that this chat is gonna lose it. Let's make it the 4-hour mark. I don't know about that one, Mr. Twister. Like, if it's time to call it quits, we're gonna call it quits, because I legitimately need to do something other than sit here and stream all evening. But maybe we'll go for the 4-hour mark. Just because we've had such few streams even get close to that. But then the problem with that is, it's like, oh, we just hit 4 hours, now we'll go for 4.5. Oh, we just hit 4.5, we'll go for the record. Like, that's what it turns into, and I don't want that to happen tonight. I legitimately have not even eaten dinner yet. But, oh my goodness, they did it. They did it, folks. This is a joke. There's no way. They just extended this tornado warning now out to Effingham and Shunway. I don't know if we're going to be here till this tornado warning expires, because this is just getting ridiculous. But seek shelter immediately if you're included in this tornado warning. On the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. This is going out for Teotopolis, Effingham, and Shumway, as well as Moccasin in central Illinois. I don't really know, Mr. Packer. I guess it's just exciting because it's local, but... I can't believe they extended it. That's actually insane that they just extended that again. I don't even know why at this point. If we're gonna give a tornado warning to this storm, at least give a tornado warning to the Hillsborough one. Like... Anyways. Oh, I've been live since I got out of school as well. What? I don't think anybody said that, Kevin. Or Howard. Sorry. I know, right, Vincent? It's gonna happen, bro. It's going to. But again, if you're in Effingham, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately. Again, this is for northern Effingham County and southeastern Shelby County. New severe thunderstorm warning as well. It's going to be going out for parts of Texas, just north of Austin there. This includes Gerald. I was wondering if it would or not. It's for quarter-sized hail and damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour. So if you're along I-35 in between Gerald and Austin, make sure you are getting indoors. Oh, okay. No, yeah, he would never say that. I just thought he did for a second. My fault. Again, I'm just like... I don't understand how this is still rotating, but it is. Why does Gerald sound familiar? I don't know. Maybe there's a video talking about it on this channel that you should go watch if you haven't already. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if there's a video out on it or not. be. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna be honest. I think we're probably going to end off our coverage here. I know it has been a long evening, but I think it's time. So I want to thank y'all for tuning into this live stream. We will wait for one more velocity scan, and if it's impressive, and I mean impressive, I don't mean more impressive than it is now. If it is impressive, then we will stay here. But otherwise, we're going to cut off our coverage for tonight. Probably not, Mr. Twister, sorry. Dude, I see it from the St. Louis radar. It looks like it upticked again. Oh my gosh. This is going to be horrible. Alright, the moment of truth. Yep, not impressive enough. So yeah, we're going to end off this live stream. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow. Not for 4 more hours. But I'll see y'all in the next one. Oh, PA Storm Trackers has a rainbow. Okay, we've got to include that. Look at that rainbow. You can just barely see it. It's not Freddie McKinney, but we'll say it is. But thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.